Welcome back to Around the Mage Table. It is episode 30. Can you guys believe we made it 30 episodes? There's on the internet upwards of 40 to 50 hours of us being absolute donkeys. Can you believe that?
Yep.
You can all
And
the
in one of those
streams.
episodes, we each lost our fingers.
Good throwback there. I want to start today's episode with some gratitude. So we've been talking about it for 2 weeks now on the podcast about the Extra Life Marathon stream that we were going to do on November 16th, which was last Saturday. Shawnee, gratitude towards you. You stayed up the entire 24 hours with me, which is, I think, a first. Usually someone will tap out for like an hour or two to get a quick nap. But you've paid the price.
Yes.
I hear you've got gonorrhea now. Is that right?
No, it's not gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea.
Somehow,
Now,
gonorrhea's faded away fastly. The cold I had outweighed the gonorrhea, and then my back went out from carrying that 24-hour stream.
Speaking of carrying, right? So just some highlights from the 24 hours. One of my favorite moments was us playing Chain Together with Scrap and Leo. And it's funny you say your back hurts because I feel like every time you fell or had to dangle, Scrap just left you there to dangle the entire fucking time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling with the controls.
You were absolutely useless. And speaking of struggling with controls, we also had an hour-long dedication to the podcast through Liar's Bar, where in the game, apparently, if you use push to talk, your mouth will move, and of course, your head will move with your camera as you move your mouse or whatever. And so once we discovered this,
that was a blast.
Yep, Technique, Shawnee, and I were all having a blast, but you just continued to talk in Discord saying,
I can figure it out. I'm not good with
despite the
technology.
fact that you use push to talk almost always.
Can you insert the clip of my my Yahtzee?
Oh
Or
yeah,
the
of course I
big
will.
icon.
Of course I will.
Got it. It's your turn, Scrap. Can you please?
6 Scrap 6 2s. Are you
Yeah.
are you okay over there? 6 2s. I can tell you with
Space
certainty
Bub,
right now.
Space
What,
Bub,
yes,
I have a
yes,
question.
yes.
As I look at my hand,
How many
I
2s
don't
do you have?
see a whole lot of those. How many
No,
have
I
you
don't.
got?
I don't either. Call a liar.
Cheat?
Call a liar.
You cheat?
She can't even open her mouth correctly.
I got fucking donkey.
Hey, you know what? I haven't even done the introduction. Shawnee, I know we've talked already. I hope you're feeling better. Scrap, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Technique, how are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Life's good. Glad to be back on a Wednesday with you guys.
Another day.
I'm not sick.
You know they'll see this on Thursday, but that's okay.
Today's Wednesday. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's fine. Just, break down the illusion of that fourth
What
wall.
if they watch it a week from now, Frank? On Wednesday.
So, do I dare
Moving on.
jinx us with this? Probably will be a short episode. And I say that because, the dog days of season 1 are on us, and we don't have too much to talk about. We obviously had the direct last week, which was big news. There have been some interviews since then that will kind of expand on some things that we can talk about. But otherwise, not much is going on. We'll have 11.0.7. I think it's second week of December. And so what I'm thinking of for a episode, as the holidays are also upon us, so next week we'll not have an episode as I will be out of town, and I'm sure most of you will be celebrating Thanksgiving. But I'm thinking what we do is we may have like one episode in December, maybe 2, depending on if 11.0.7 has some interesting things in it. But one episode, and we do the game show episode. We do the competition between the three of you. And I'm thinking maybe we invite a fourth person on. We can bring Lithium back if you want. We can bring, Haywire back, who did it with us for the last season of Dragonflight.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you guys think about that? You think it'd be fun to do a little game show, just summarizing
Definitely.
and recapping season 1? So if you're out there and you think you're gonna be a good candidate and you're not already in the Discord, just go ahead and reach out to us. You can do it at mythicdungeonleague@gmail.com or come to mythicdungeonleague.com. and find us one way or another through that. Which, by the way, I want to give a shout out. Oh God, I don't even have their name, but someone pointed out to me a second time that the link to my Twitch on the website was broken, despite the fact that I thought I fixed it years ago. So for all of you who've been going there to try to find us, I'm sorry that was broken. No, seriously, I genuinely remember fixing it, and I guess I didn't, but whatever, I'm an idiot. So that's fixed now, and we'll get more into that later. But, you guys ready to jump into the news?
Jump into
Fucking
it.
hit it, boys.
Let's go. Oh, I broke the link already. Christ almighty. Give me 1 sec. How did I break it? All right. Anyways, starting with a little drama. The Hate Forged bicycle, now you'll see it says here back in stock, but went out of stock from the Mountain Dew promotion. It went out of stock very quickly, actually, because like that stuff has only been out for like a week at the time.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is it is back in stock, but Technique, I heard you rambling about this earlier, so I wanted to give you a second to get on your soapbox and tell us why everyone's an idiot.
I said one thing, which was, how the fuck do you run out of a digital?
Yeah, I don't understand.
We're out of keys. What do you mean? Make more keys? Like,
They did,
do more keys.
but they did.
But how do they even run out? I don't understand how you run out.
So the way it works is I'm sure
You would think you have like a key generator attached to this fucking redeem points thing. Like, oh, you gave me 600 points, digital. Let me give you this code, digital.
Aren't the codes printed on the boxes or something?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. The codes for the points are printed on the boxes. The redemptions through Mountain Dew's portal.
How do you not just put the code from the box into the thing and it gives you the
Because
spits
there's
out
other
amount?
things you can redeem. So there's points across like all sorts of redeemables, but obviously the Hate Forged bicycle is the big one.
Is it safe to say this was like a bug?
No. So like what happened was that Blizzard issued, let's say, 10,000 codes for the bicycle. So like when you hit that redeem now, a code is already generated, and it's just like, code 1 is handed out, code 2 is handed out. I guess they didn't suspect it to be as popular as it was. And they only gave Mountain Dew, and again, let's just say 1 million of them, whatever. And Mountain Dew ran out of codes. We don't have any more.
Oh, okay.
To Technique's point, yes, if it was Blizzard, they probably could just have like a generator, but it's not Blizzard. It's Mountain Dew who's doing this.
Why the fuck would it be Blizzard? You redeemed the shit on your Blizzard store, right?
No, you redeem it through Mountain Dew, and then you put it into the Blizzard store.
Dumb. They should have given them Blizzard
points. What other stuff can you get with the points? That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, edit this picture and
let's look.
They got a bunch of assholes running this place.
I got at my local Giant. There's a 2-buy-2 get 3 free.
You can get a blacksmithing outfit. Scroll back up.
Oh, he's back in, baby. He's back in.
Yeah, scroll back up.
You get a little Ragnaros.
Oh, cool.
I want to bot Wrangler's Crimson.
It's cool. It's like
hold on.
Yeah.
Look at this. You can get
4,000.
You can get the Epic Edition. I didn't know this.
Oh, the Epic Edition.
You can buy War Within with it.
How many points do you get per box of Mountain Dew?
I would assume it's like
diabetic amount of.
No. To hit 4,000 would be 7 cases, 12 packs. I think. I'm not.
It's like fucking 2 years.
Hold on.
Dude,
7.
we've already talked about Scratch's gonna buy 2, get 3 free.
Yeah.
She just has to buy 1 more and she's there.
Go to Giant, buy 2, get 3
cases or 12
free.
packs?
12 packs.
12
packs. Yeah.
I think. Again, I've got like 4 of them in my.
Is that only 12 cases?
It doesn't matter. Anyways, okay, we digress. But the point is,
for $40, I can get the Epic Edition and a bunch of motorcycles.
Well, the world lost their fucking mind because they got so angry at Blizzard. Now, granted, at the heart of it, it's an easy fix. They did fix it. I don't know why it took them like 4 days to fucking say something. But that's, of course, goes back to our conversation about how they fail to communicate. Sidebar, I want to call out Path of Exile, who has a phenomenal way of communicating with their player base. They had a patch that was supposed to go out like last Thursday or something. It failed to patch correctly over one small bug. And like they were on Twitter explaining not only what had happened, but like I'm on my way home now to fix it, and give me 3 hours and I'll have it done, and I'll have the game back online, and then I'm gonna patch it on Monday, so everyone get ready at Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna do this. Like that is the the gold standard of communicating.
It is
because these dudes don't get paid unless their shit works. Blizzard gets paid no matter what.
So the points per for a 24 pack of Mountain Dew, you get 1,000 points.
Okay. So it's just under
500 for a 12 pack then.
We assume, just based on the math.
Damn. That's actually a lot.
So 500 mean eight cases of 12 packs.
No, you get 1,000, and it's
No, that's a 24
4,000
pack.
for
24 pack.
Oh
yeah, 24 pack is a monstrous
Do they even
thing.
have a 24 pack? I haven't seen. Okay, we're getting
Not
into
in the US, I don't think.
too bogged down in the fucking Mountain Dew promo, but
Well, the point is that there's more codes coming soon, right?
yeah, I think they already did drop. But
Okay.
again, this is another example where people just lose their fucking mind, not knowing, like, just give it a second. Just give it
that
a
apron,
second.
dog.
I mean, Frank, for me, I kind of am like, what do you mean there's no more of digital item? Like, I think everybody was in the same boat as me in Technique, where we're like, we just don't understand, and then we get
doesn't that
angry
just make
because
you a
we don't get
donkey?
something.
Here's the trick they're doing. The bike's the most popular. It's out of stock, but I got points. I'm gonna buy some shit I didn't want. Now it's back in stock. Now I gotta farm up the points again.
It seems a little bit paranoid.
Do you guys blame
man.
Europe at all? Because apparently people were buying cases and then giving the codes to Europeans.
Why would I blame Europe?
Why wouldn't you blame
Because they're
Europe?
a market for it. That's I'm just. Yes, my impulse is to blame Europe, but I want to know why.
We have like 2% of our viewers come from like the Netherlands and Great Britain, so we better be careful.
That's cool. What's up? What's up, Netherlanders? You're
All right.
cool. I would sell you a code if I had it.
In other news, Valorstone, which is a hot topic of conversation right now, they did sneakily dropped a catch-up mechanic for your alts where you can use Valorstones to buy equipment for your alts just to hand off to them, which they've had in the past. They've done it in Dragonflight and the like. But
Who's got 350 Valorstones running around?
Well, so that was going to be my question, right? Because Valorstones have been a scarce commodity to the point where people are just fucking livid about Valorstones in general. I wanted to ask you guys, we have talked a little bit about it, like, why is there two systems? I think it was one of our questions of the weeks, is why is there two systems? My answer at the time was, well, it's to make sure that you're still engaging with content past just doing like Mythic Plus nonstop, for example. But
is it working though? I don't do shit other than Mythic Plus either way.
Well, yeah, but you do a lot of Mythic Plus, and it's enough for you to be okay.
Yeah, all I do is Mythic Plus, and I'm constantly capped on Valorstones because I just have one character.
Bullshit.
All the time. Yeah, because my stuff is fully upgraded.
You've done all the quests.
Like, what can I do?
Frank's stuff is fully upgraded. I only have like 300 at the moment.
Sorry, one more time. My mic cut out. My headphone cut out.
I said Frankenberry is like, he's item level 232 or what, 632, whatever. He's got like 7 or 8 mythic track gears that are all maxed out, and I only have like 300 Valorstones on me at the moment.
I don't know where I'm getting them, but I'm not like using them. Like,
you do quests.
No, I don't do quests.
I was gonna
say,
she barely plays.
I'm capped because you get Valorstones just from Mythic Plus too.
Sure, but like I'm doing the weeklies every week to get my renown
I'm
up.
not doing any weeklies.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not doing anything. Here, I'm pulling my character right now. I swear to you, I'm capped.
Well, okay. My question wasn't really going to be about the main, because I do feel like if you're playing your main enough, it really isn't a problem.
She hasn't played her alts like at all, though, right?
Where it becomes a huge problem is your alts.
Yeah.
Because it requires you to play your alts like a main to get Valorstone. So I'm kind of actually wavering on my original like stance on does it serve a purpose? Because, and again, I'm sure they are still kind of like willing to revisit this whole problem to begin with. For example, in season 1 of War Within, they made it so that your alts have to use less crests to upgrade things you fully upgraded, right? Which is a huge quality of life improvement and appreciate it. But I've got now
all the Valorstones.
Well, I've got 3 alts, so I've got Frank, and then I've got my Shaman, my Monk, and my Prop Pally, and I'm like getting constantly walled. Not only because the crests themselves are becoming more and more problematic to get, because I have to do like 10 dungeons a week on each of those characters, but also just because the Valorstones aren't enough. Like, the reason Frank has enough is because he does raid, and I'll do those weeklies. That all said, I've heard that there is a Valorstone farm technique via completing delves, getting that like bountiful delve,
Frank, I gotta say, I feel like if I boiled down your complaint is that. Let me boil it down. Your complaint is that playing 4 characters and gearing 4 characters takes too much time, right?
It's not that it takes too much time, because I'm doing
4 enough.
No. I'm not worried about rushing to 2:6, or whatever, 6:30 or whatever.
6:30.
I'm at on 2 of them. I'm at like 6:06, right? And I've been running dungeons a lot and not getting good drops. Like I'm only really gearing from my my vault, which is unlucky, of course. I'm not blaming, you know, I know it is. But I can't upgrade anything either because like I'm getting only enough crests of the certain type to upgrade that one thing out of the, you know, out of the vault. Whereas everything else, I don't have Valorstones to just like freely upgrade them to catch up quickly to, you know, 615 or something. Nothing crazy. Given that I've done so much work on my main. And so
Valorstones should be account bound, like war bounding.
That's kind of where I'm leaning into. Is like they just need to. I'm not saying Valorstones shouldn't exist, but I'm just saying like either make it so that the alts get a severe discount, which I don't think is the right solve. But like you said, technically, I think it's more of like.
I feel like these quality of life changes that you're proposing make the game unhealthier because I feel like it encourages people to switch characters easily, like at the drop of the hat. So if the meta
they're encouraging that already because the game's done. Anyone is already done with the game on their character.
Okay,
they have to make an alt to play the game.
With absolute out of pocket takes. I feel like that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying.
Are you playing this week?
I'm saying literally last week we were talking about like the people need to stick, or 2 weeks ago, stick to one character and get really good at it and not chase the meta. Now, if you can gear a character to 630 in a week, like
no, that's not what. Difficult. But that's not what we're calling. The amount of Valorstones you would need to gear to 630 in a week would be like a 5-figure amount plus, right?
Currently, and I think it should be difficult. I think it should take time.
Of course.
And they shouldn't be super easy to get.
But I'm just saying that, like, if I'm doing so for example, if I'm doing raid on Frankenberry, and I don't need any gear out of the raid, I'm doing it more just because, you know, I've gotten my gear. I want to make sure everyone else gets theirs. So there's going to be an abundance of Valorstone soon, right? It'd be nice to not just have it sit there wasting away, which is why I think the account bound option is the best. Because the inverse of what you're saying, Scrap, is if I have those 4 alts and I'm starved on all 4 of them, the problem still isn't solved. I have to go out and play the game more, which I think is the right answer. But what I don't want to have happen, and luckily, sidebar real quick. I think the changes to the crest system this season are much better for one reason only. I'm still spending crests like crazy, the high-end crests, of course. And I'm not fully capped, right? Because I don't have all Myth Trek gear yet. So like I'm still going to be constantly hungering for filling up my vault with as many, you know, crest / spots as I can.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a good pace.
Yeah, it's been a good pace. Now, some people may not like that because they might like to jump to a new alt, a new player, and all that stuff. But for me, it's like a and scenario, not an or scenario. So just wanted to put that thought out there.
Yeah.
But
I got a question for you, Frankie.
Yeah, what's up?
You're a person who's got alts more than I. Have you actually utilized this warbound item thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my shaman got like 6 items the second he hit 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get shit.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say the warbound until equipped drop rate was pretty good because you know, I have a mail class, I have a cloth class, I have a plate class, and I have a leather class. And so most of the things I was able to hand out, like my shaman, I got a healing weapon on that I'm not going to heal with, but like it's nice to know that I have it if I want it instead of having to like craft something or whatever. But yeah, my shaman had a main hand weapon and an offhand weapon, a shoulder, and a pant. Now, granted, they were like 587 eye level. And you use them for like what, a week? Yeah, because actually, I probably still have one of them on my tune because again, I'm just getting unlucky with drops. But yeah, it was really nice knowing that the second I hit 80. At least some of those slots were filling out quickly that I could start, you know, queuing for looking for raid or whatever. Because that is, especially if you're not like super geared to begin with, coming out of 80. So yeah, I think that was a huge success and I love the system. And I mean, hell, we had Roar, like he got a Spymaster's Web woo.
He got more than one, I thought.
Oh, maybe. That's insane if he did.
Maybe he was joking about that, but I know he definitely at least got one. He got a woo Spymasters. Like, come on.
But I think the woo system is really good because at the very worst, it's not interfering with your main loot. It's just there, and you know you put it on the ground and throw it away if you want. Johnny, we've been all talking.
I don't even use them, and I like them.
I don't care. I prefer honestly, I prefer a one I've said this before, like, I wish it was just Valorstones, and I know people always say, like, well, then people can just grind it out. I'm like, well, let them grind it out.
Well, it's how it was in Shadowlands. That's how it was in Shadowlands.
And I don't mind one currency.
Yeah, like the Valor badges back in the day.
Yeah,
just one thing, and like I would be like, yeah, sure, if they did it, like people have been like, well, you can grind it out, sure, make it as you go higher, you grind a little less or whatever, like you get a less amount. I'm fine with it. I have alts, and I'm not too worried about like super gearing them because I don't want to spend all the money on like crafted items for them, which I find more annoying than anything in the gearing process. So, yeah. I don't.
I'm kind of okay with like
whatever.
Yeah, I think it's there. I'm thinking about as you say that. Like, do I want to go and grind like 2s to help my buddies out, or do I want to go and grind 8s to help my buddies out?
I'd rather be doing the 8s where I'm like helping them out in a way that gets their vault filled, as opposed to, you know, we're going to talk about this in a second, but like the 2 to 6 window, especially 2s, like 3s, you could argue 3s because you're filling out hero track in the vault, but like 2s to 6s, I think the difficulty curve is for the most part all to players like us. I know we play better, but like I hit level 80 on my monk and my shaman, and I was able to jump into 6s and 7s almost immediately, and my monk was like eye level 560. It was insane.
Yeah, if you know the dungeons,
and I was healing
away with a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, even me as a healer, yeah, same thing. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. So there's an interview later on that talks about that, so we'll address that then. Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Yep.
Player housing. So
yeah,
we had speculation last week about what the rune meant, and we had all the thoughts in the world. And Shauna, you even talked about how like the map was like the cutoff of Northrend. They did change the icon. They also had a new zone to 11.2. I didn't even catch that, but people were apparently like losing their mind thinking there wasn't going to be a new zone. But yes, there will be a new zone. So yeah, they are, it appears, launching the player housing before midnight to theoretically let that system cook and develop and crash before the launch of the expansion. Because if you guys remember in WoD, Warlords of Draenor, garrisons like took servers offline for a week at a time. So initially, what's your thoughts on the fact that they're doing this before the expansion?
I think it's great. I think it will make my personal opinion is it'll make people maybe come back a little early just to try it out, and it'll hype up midnight more, because I know they're not going to have like, well, I don't know, but I don't assume they'll have like the fully flushed out housing thing. But for me, like you said about WoD, I am so glad they're putting out ahead of time, because if it's crashing for like a day at a time at the end of the season, I don't care. I remember when WoD launched that you couldn't even go into your garrison or you were out of the game for like 5 hours because it would put you in this weird perpetual state of nothingness. So I think it's great. Like, put it in as soon as you can.
I agree with the timing.
Yeah, I think it's also smart to like hammer out everything when there's maybe not as many people playing, like just the hardcore diehard people who'll apologize for anything. Us, like we're cool with a little bit of shenaniganry, but like once the Sims, once they launch the game, they have all these people who are like maybe coming back and are like looking at it with a harsh eye, looking for any excuse to like, unsub after the first month and go back to playing their other games, and it's like they don't want to see it being buggy because that's going to kick them out faster. That's just my opinion.
So I genuinely feel like this would bring more people back than the expansion would.
I think it will, but I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to wait for the expansion drop.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of people wait just so they can be like, oh, I don't have to play now. The expansion's not out. I'll let all these other idiots pay their sub to test it out for me.
I can tell also, like, from, like, I was talking to Flux, and he was saying, like, I'm going to wait till the expansion comes so I don't have to buy War Within. Because if you want to play it before, you got to buy both.
Scrap, just tell him to get a whole bunch of Mountain Dew. He doesn't need to buy it anymore.
He and I are going halvesies on the Mountain Dew. Yep.
Yeah, he needs to get a lot of cases.
Subscription too.
Yeah. Well, you get the Epic Edition.
Yeah. So yeah, that was clarified. Now, again, we'll have some interviews later that will also clarify some other things. But I don't remember if we talked about things like the Nightfall content, which I don't think has been teased yet, but Horrific Visions Revisited.
We
Did we talk
did.
about that?
Is that the like it's the
BFA thing?
BFA and a BFA thing? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the surface, there's some lore behind it. If you haven't watched the weekly reset this week, there's some good information out of that. But they allegedly kind of squashed the rumors that there might be like a new version of this, just like, you know, Horrific Visions, but in maybe new locations. And they apparently are just going to do the same old Horrific Visions from past.
Oh,
now those were good. They were good, but like once you kind of like defeated it, the only reason you kept doing it was for your cloak. I can't envision what would be a reason to bring me back if there's you know, there is no cloak power. I don't want cloak power. Please don't do that again. But like
ring power.
Yeah. second 0.7 patch with a ring. I don't know. I'm wondering if Blizzard maybe walked themselves into a corner here where all people are going to be talking about for the next, you know, year is, can we get more information on player housing?
I don't care about player housing that much. I mean, and thinking about like, oh, I'm looking at where 11.1.5 is, and it's basically where we are in WoW right now with this patch, and I'm still playing. Like, and I don't
think people are going to unsub because they don't have information on player housing, but it will be a distraction.
You were saying like, what's going to keep me entertained in 11.1.5? I mean, the season's still going to be in full swing at that point.
Well, yeah, and we're going to be excited about what's in 11.2 when that, you know, is announced. Of course, I didn't. What I mean is all our attention going to be like, okay, so you know, let's just say we become popular enough that we get to do a dev interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to, every time Shawnee submits a question he wants to ask the devs about player housing, be like, dude, they said no talking about player housing.
You know what?
Like,
No, honestly, I'm excited about player housing, but that is something I honestly don't want to spoil for myself.
Okay.
I would be more apt to be like, what are you guys going to do with professions?
Just alongside player housing, or
just in general, do you have any plans to change how professions work? Because if would you bring back archaeology? Those would be my probably top two questions.
I think they've already closed the door on archaeology, though.
No, open it back up. Why? I love archaeology.
Because to me, archaeology is just another system in a game you can have, and if I don't know how hard it is to program and put in. But I just feel like it's no different than adding some new pets every zone, right?
Yeah. I don't think they had a problem with archaeology on a whole, but like the gameplay wasn't like, you know, it's fun to do for a second.
I would rather do that than fly around in circles in Dornigal while I wait for you guys to do a key or something.
But you're never waiting for us to do a key because it's always us that's waiting for you to finish your key.
Okay, sometimes I'm
Shawnee,
waiting.
Do you want to get on that soapbox real quick?
No.
Sometimes it takes me 30 minutes to get into a key, and I'm just flying around Dornigal. I'd like to be doing archaeology.
No, you're too busy clicking. You know, request to join for everything that denies you.
That takes a lot of work, a lot of energy.
Yeah, so you won't be able to do archaeology.
No, but I'll be flying when I do that.
Yeah, as excited as I am about player housing, I think that is definitely one thing. I'd be okay to not ask questions about. There's definitely, I know on the podcast that we have people that want to know stuff aside from just player housing. So I might give you out of 10 questions, one player housing, and then I would try to go through different stuff also.
Well, okay, I gotta know, because as somebody who I really don't care too much about player housing. I'll engage with it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Is most of the community more like me or more like Shawnee?
I think they're more like Shawnee.
I think we need to do a poll or something. I feel like our Discord community is not that hype about all the degenerate people who just do keys all the time that we hang out with. They don't care about player housing, right?
I am not getting that same pulse as you are.
I think it's more.
We'll put a poll up at the end of the, on the.
Yeah, put a poll about it.
I feel like I might be
put it up right now, and then we'll answer it.
We're not streaming live, so the poll would have 0 votes. But that's either here or there.
My guess is
poll for our Discord people.
I think people are apprehensive about it.
Of course, yeah.
So they don't want to get as excited as I am, where I tend to see it half full, and I find people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm excited," and they're already kind of doubting on it. So they're looking at it half empty and expecting it to be crappy. So they're I don't really care. It's going to suck anyway.
Let me tell you, it doesn't have to be crappy. It could be really good. But I was talking to Flux this week when he came by, like we were chatting about this, and he was like, "Are you excited?" I'm like, "I don't really care." Like to me, player housing is like if I want to build a house, there's like 30 games I can play where I can build a house. You know, like I can go play Planet Zoo and I can build a little building brick by brick. I can change each color the tiniest bit. I can make the most insane details. If I want to like do a sim thing, I can play the Sims, like all this shit. What is WoW gonna have that is gonna satisfy this urge to decorate a house?
Being in the world that, as we've tallied, we've had hundreds upon hundreds of hours.
For me,
it would be really, really good.
Yeah, but for me, it's because it's the world of Warcraft. It's not like just the world of dungeon after dungeon.
Oh, like, that's my world. So
yeah, I love doing dungeons, but I also like love Halaval as a zone like so much, and I like quasi role playing where like I would love to have a house for my character, and I super enjoy building it and everything, and like I think there's a I don't want to build a house outside of WoW. I've been playing WoW for like 20 years, and I've wanted a house in WoW.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any loot involved with building a house? Like,
don't know.
What do you mean, like you get rewards?
They said there'd be no player power attached.
So that's kind of like historically, if I don't gain something player power wise, I'm probably not trying to do that in the game.
Same.
And I fear that if it's not just amazing, like I probably won't be giving a shit about the player housing. Now, all that said, Shawnee and I, we've all talked about it in the podcast before. I am excited about it, and I think they could do a lot of fun stuff. Is it for me? Maybe not. I don't
know, man. You do like to fuck around with transmog quite a bit.
Not really.
I have like 3 mods.
No, dude, what are you talking about? You used to send me links to a transmog you saw on Reddit that you then adopted to your character.
Taking a shit and like flipping through stuff on my phone.
And that's the thing you go to when you're defecating?
Yeah. It's like shit
that's
talk.
What he said.
I'm not doing that during my game time. I'm doing that during my
get that,
time.
but you guys do talk about your trans. I don't care what you say. You and Scrap we'll sit there and talk about your transmogs. And, not often, but often enough that it's
but where are we when we're talking about it? In a raid or a key?
Sure, but where will you be before the raid or a key? In your house, saying, "Look at this motherfucking Onyxia head that I got as a feat of strength from killing her."
Before the raid, I'll be in the key.
There's not a lot of stuff
you'll be in the key during the
game. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff in the game I find enjoyable that doesn't involve like fighting. Like I like the Mage Tower type stuff.
You just asked for archaeology. What are you talking about?
There's not a lot of stuff. I didn't say there's no stuff. I said there's not a lot, Frank. I like archaeology. If it's like archaeology, I'm in.
When will we ever get credibility when you are saying contradictory statements literally within 5 minutes of each other?
I'm just telling the truth, Frank. I'm just telling it like it is.
Oh no, I don't know.
Right. I don't know.
Believe me.
Look, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. I like archaeology and I don't like anything else.
But if they had it so that you could put things from archaeology in your house, you'd be like fucking...
You know why I like archaeology? Because in real life, I like digging up fossils and stuff, and I thought it was cool.
What if you can roughhouse in your house as fighting?
Well, apparently, in the video, they had a training dummy, so you could do training dummy shit.
Not to go full on into... Like last week we were talking about speculation stuff, but again I was talking to my buddy Flux and I said my dream is that it's just the Sims.
Like fucking,
because I was just hanging out with him when we were talking about this. But I was like, if it's literally like the Sims where I can go into my house and cook macaroni and it gets lit on fire, and then like the Grim Reaper comes and I'm playing WoW. Dude, I'm in. If I could get in the pool, I invite Shawnee over.
God, imagine that if they had a pool with bikinis, everyone would lose their fucking mind.
Yeah, a pool. Because I have that beach outfit from the trading post. I need a pool.
That's why they put it in there. That's when they said, "Hey, do you think we should add a pool to the player housing?" And they said, "Hell yeah, put that shit on the trading post."
You gotta have a hot tub, man. That's how you get your Sims to breed.
Can we have a quick sidebar about the trading post? When the fuck did it become a 2,000 point trading post?
I know, dude. I only have like 200 points. I need to play the game.
When the fuck did that happen?
No, I think it's just for this month. I don't think it's every month.
Oh, maybe
thing.
because of the event. Okay, yeah, okay.
I think
All right.
I think so, but I need that. I need the points, dude. I have like zero. My wallet, my trading post wallet is empty. There are bugs flying out of it. I gotta get some trading tender.
I'm gonna go check that shit out.
All right,
Dude,
we ready
you gotta,
to
there's
keep,
really
ready
good
to keep
shit.
moving along?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Scrap.
yeah, we get sidetracked.
I'm gonna
This is
give you a
what you're here
chance
for,
to talk about hardcore for a second. I know
I'm talking
Technique,
about hardcore for an hour.
Well,
No,
so
God.
why don't you announce what's happening tomorrow and what we are going to be doing?
I don't know, man. Hardcore's happening. Is that what you want me to
So we're
announce?
going to play hardcore. There's only one server, so we don't. What was it, like Moonwrath or something like that?
Doom,
We're playing on
Doom
Horde. Come play with
Speaker or
us.
some shit. Doom Walker.
We're going to do
Doom
the
something.
hardcore thing, and we're going to make a guild. So anyone that is watching that wants to play in a guild on hardcore,
It'll be on Horde.
It will be
Horde.
Horde. Yep. Which makes me sad because I'm not going to be able to play. Should I play Mage? I don't know. I don't fucking know what to do.
I think technically
You have to be a troll.
I was talking to him. He was making a undead mage.
I was
Or
going to do an
undead.
undead Mage.
Is that right? Was it tech?
That
Yeah.
or maybe an orc
Trolls
shaman.
have Berserker. Why would you make an undead?
Yeah, trolls have berserk.
Am I worried about the DPS meter and Molten
Yes.
Core? Hardcore,
Well,
by
it'll
the
be
way.
easier to get to Wailing Caverns, and
It'll-
it's really easy to die on the Undercity
Yes.
elevators. I'm just
I'll
saying.
portals. Don't worry about me.
I think
Um,
honestly,
True.
as far as like things that can kill you, it might be more likely a fear. So having the undead, and you can eat
Oh.
corpses. That's
And you
always
can-
fun.
And your breath is
Damn.
longer. As somebody who drowned in hardcore and lost a character that way, that's huge.
You can
So-
underwater breathing. All right, I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm undead.
So, okay,
Cool.
did we mention this as well last week? I don't know if we did it in our chat or on the show, but like they're adding the looking for group tool as well, it seems like.
We didn't talk about that, no.
No.
We
It's
just
not
were
like
talking about it, but not on stream.
it's just like a mythic
it's not the
plus.
it's not the quick join. It's just a post your thing here.
I think it's fine. We had talked about it a little bit, and the first thing I said was like, fuck you. But honestly, like, it's fine.
It's just more organized than looking in the channel.
More organized.
Is all.
Yeah, because what do you normally do?
Well, you
What
don't
do
have
you
to
do
keep
in classic
spamming the
technique?
channel too, which is nice.
Yeah, technique. What do? You go to Baron's chat. You say, hey, anybody would do Wailing Caverns? Nobody goes. Then you go /who17.
Here's
whisper
what you
every
do.
single person at level
In classic
17.
WoW,
Which you can still
say
do.
looking
Yeah,
for
you-
just one more
Yep.
DPS tank. You don't have a group. It's just you, but you just need one more person.
Technique. I
And
have
that way-
done that shit, bro. You say, yeah, they're
Yeah.
coming. They're
Oh,
coming.
no.
And you say have Warlock will summon, and then you scramble for a
Shut up.
Warlock in the zone. You /who Warlock Barons, and you find him. You say, hey, buddy, listen.
Maybe I should play a warlock just so we have
I'm going to
that.
give you I'm going to give you a little bit of gold. You're going to summon my buddies. Can you meet me at this place?
Gold
And
is
they were
going to
like-
be such a hot commodity. You're not going to have any of that to.
And in classic, warlocks are that guy like Frank. He's like, I just want to be the guy that can summon people, and they'll do it because.
Because they're that guy.
But also in hardcore, they have these. Literally, there are people that's how they make their gold. They make a warlock. They make 2 alts that are like. There was this one dude, I forgot his name. He had like 2 little chicks in bikinis. They were his alts, and they would. It was like him and his entourage, and he had like summoning warlocks in all the hot spots.
Yep.
And you would hit him up and be like, "Hey, bro, I need to summon to like XYZ
Yeah.
land or whatever."
50 silver,
like,
man.
I'll switch, and he's just multi-boxing with him and his bikini chicks, and
Yeah.
he would just you would pop in.
Would he
and he'd
name them?
ask for
Would he
money.
name them where they were? So it'd be like Baron Lock or something like that.
I don't remember. It was all a version of his name, and it was like what's it was like transport or some shit, transport lock or some shit like that. Dookie could tell us. He played a lot more than I did after a couple of times.
Either way, I wanted to get a quick gauge. Shawnee, are you going to play it all?
Nope.
Okay, so Shawnee's out.
Out.
What is the level the 3 of us die first at? So Scrap, you go first. And
I'm
Shawnee,
gonna try
actually,
to-
Shawnee, you guess.
Yeah.
You guess first. So what do you think Scrap is first?
Oh, Scrap's like a 22.
Okay. What do you
Well,
think?
hold on. That's awesome.
What
Over
class
under
are you
Scrap,
going to play,
22.
Scrap?
I'm playing Hunter. But I will say the Tauren
What-
Hunter quest is so deadly, bro. Because
I was
there's
about
these
to
birds.
ask.
They're called swoops. And
You
they
don't
they
have to
will
do it by
stun
yourself.
You. No, I'm gonna have to. If I'm impatient, I'll die.
Okay.
Because they're literally like you'll be taming them, they'll be killing you, and you're like almost get the tame off, and then they stun you. You have to start all the way over. You are dead, bro. You're dead, and you have to do that quest to get your pet. Once I get the pet, I'm smooth sailing for a bit. But low key, I'm worried I'm gonna die at that part, and then the second part I'm worried about dying is maybe
Water.
level 22. Yeah, Ashen Veil, bro. Ashen Veil is brutal.
Lots of
You'll be happy
spiders.
as long as you have Wailing Caverns done.
Yeah, my goal, honestly, I want to do Wailing Caverns. If I die before Wailing Caverns, I'm gonna hit it again. But I don't plan on playing too much aside from like this next week. Historically, I'm not very good at hardcore WoW. I think the furthest I made it was like level 27, and Frank was actively trying to save me, and I just died in his arms basically. Like I was unsavable. I kept running into mobs. I was freaking out.
Did he die while trying to save you?
No,
No,
I
no,
died
no.
because I got
I didn't.
He didn't
disconnected from
try hard enough.
Spectrum.
No, I died while he was trying to save me. Once it was really bad. But I love hardcore WoW. I think it's fun as hell. I'm just not good at it. So
All right, Shawnee, over under, or we'll set the over under for technique. What do you think he's gonna die at?
He's around like it goes to 60, right?
yeah.
Technique's like a 53.
59 historically.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm
Sorry,
saying
59.
53. I think with all that's currently gone in your life, you've lost 6 levels of competitiveness.
If I get it that far, I'm gonna be really mad because I don't want to fight.
I was gonna say I don't think Technique has got his heart in it. I think he's gonna be sloppier. I think he's going to 30. You know, that's as far.
Okay.
I'll get to
You're gonna go
30?
to
So
Stranglethorn
technique, what
Vandal.
are you going to hit? What do you think?
I'm not even sure I'm gonna play, man.
You're gonna
What,
play.
you're
You're
backing
gonna
out
see
now?
what we're having.
Is my brother gonna play? Is the question. My brother plays.
I
I'll
doubt
definitely
it.
play.
He
I
still
doubt
blames
he's
me
gonna
for
play.
killing him.
All right, so undead. What am I gonna make? Probably a priest, just because somebody's got to heal you, clowns,
Wait, so if you're gonna
And,
be a priest, then
um,
maybe I should do a warrior.
or a warlock.
Wait,
Nah.
Technique, didn't your
I hate
priest,
warlock.
level 59 priest, die in like Tirisfal Glade? Like
No.
from a guard? Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, one of my priests
Yeah.
did.
Oh, okay.
Because I was literally like, Christine walked into the room. I'm doing this while I'm auto running. I'm like talking to her, and I look back and I'm running right into Brill. I'm like, Jesus
Into Braille,
Christ!
yeah.
And that's
You're gonna go back
Alright.
there, dude?
Shawnee, over under on
well,
my
I'll,
death.
I'll be horde this time.
Frank, I think you have like a 32,
Okay.
and it's either like a kid or phone call or internet, like something really like
Internet.
chest that's gonna tilt you gets you. It's not
Well,
even gonna
yeah,
be the
yeah, some
game.
bullshit, yeah.
Frank,
the other thing.
I don't even think I'll
My
make it to
house
32
is
because
gonna-
I think I'll stop at like 15. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
bored
I
of this
think
already.
15 because you're not gonna have all your paladin tricks, dude. You're gonna
You
struggle.
could be a shaman though.
Mages were apparently the best
Shaman.
at surviving in the first version.
Mages
of
are-
hardcore.
I don't know
a
about
high
that.
survival rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
right.
because of his.
Well, anyways, if you are out there playing hardcore and you need a home, I can't promise we'll be there for long, but you know we'll be there for at least some LOLs, a horde, and you know we'll see you on the servers tomorrow or today, I guess.
A
When
good
the episode's
time,
airing.
not a long time.
Okay, let's jump into some of the news that came from the interviews, starting with one of them that came from Max's interview with the raid design teams. The visual clarity is the one thing I just want to call out because everything else wasn't surprising, but apparently in 11.1 they are going to test a new swirly graphic coming with all the dungeons and the raid. I saw this and I thought for a second, I was like, this genuinely might be, because you know, like they added the ping system and they added some new mechanics like the web, what's the Ansorix web shit, like where she draws the asterisks with the web. Like that stuff was very clear in its
very clear.
intention, right? And even honestly, Ansorix like swirls and her, you know, circles spells were pretty clear. But a lot of it had to do also with like just the visual fidelity of like color on color problems. And immediately my thought runs to right now Siege of Borealis, where they have the Azurite swirls that aren't
Dude,
at all defined.
hold on. The brown bananas on the brown ground. Come on,
No,
man. Can you
I
make
feel
them
like you
yellow?
can see those clearly if you're just paying
But
attention.
why are they brown? Make them yellow.
no,
so
they
I
are
can See
yellow.
them.
Aren't they yellow?
They're not yellow, dude. They're brown. They're very
Scrap,
brown.
I think you're colorblind.
No, they're brown, dude. They're very brown bananas on a brown ground. But no, I know what you mean by the fidelity, like that. There's like anti-aliasing on a circle that is very much so has a hard kill line. Like it's not very fair.
Well, and yeah, it's just like the opacity like fades out, which is like visually cool, but not at the expense of not knowing if I'm going to survive or not. In fact,
Yeah.
there's also like another, like just a fire one, which was very clearly a fire. Like you could see the circle, but it didn't have an edge to it. And I'm thinking like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm not in it. And I was in it. And I was just like, what the fuck? So
you know what another one is that like on some beams and stuff, like in City of Threads, the second boss that's doing the beams, those are significantly wider than they look. Like
really,
like the purple beams, dude. Go and stand like with a solid foot between you and it. You will die.
I feel like I've skirted it closely and I've never had a problem, but maybe
it was a bug and they fixed it or something. But I remember twice dying to that,
or maybe you're
and
just
I was
colorblind
just like,
and you still don't know what color is actually hitting you.
I'm willing to admit, maybe I'm just not good at dodging it, but I feel like there has been, for the most part, I feel like the visual clarity in these dungeons is good, but there's definitely some things where I'm like, God damn it, I wish there was a hard outline on that so I could, be like, oh, you got me, as opposed to like, no fucking way, which is what I'm often thinking.
Christ. Any other thoughts, Technique and Shani?
On the swirly?
Yeah, just like I think this is a huge quality of life, and I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do. Because I don't think it'll just be like lines. I think they'll do something different.
If I knew more about it than just new swirly graphic, I maybe would have some more comment. I think any addition or change to visual clarity is great. I think, less add-ons and more game doing their job of like developing the game to be more clear on what the hell's going on and kind of giving the player a better feel for what the hell's happening versus us needing to like have timers and all this other shit going on. Yeah, it's a good thing, but I can't really speak to like the graphic because I haven't seen it.
You have to see it.
We'll see.
I think it's a good idea if they're trying to make it easier to see mechanics in general. And there's a lot of places I think they could go through and be like, wow, we have this like blue beam over a slightly different blue floor. Like, just make the beam red or the floor red. Like, it doesn't have to be that. There's too many times in the game where they have stuff that they didn't intend to interact that way, but like you just can't see it. Well, like I remember we did some dungeon and they would have Sanguine coming out on the red carpet and would actually go below the red carpet.
Yeah, but that's a dude issue. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. Like they have too much stuff where I feel it's like mechanically stuff is too close to the color of the floor and we're like, you can't really see it.
Like the bananas.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, good idea. If they're working towards making that better, awesome.
I'm really excited. Like I'm honestly as excited about like the ping system as I am for this because I do feel like this could be again, for all I know, they're just going to come out where every circle has an edge to it and you just see it like, okay, fine, great. But like, I'm hoping they actually have like some actual like new thought process on how to handle this. So I was kind of excited to see that.
And the idea they're going to have like hopefully less private auras is a good thing because they want to have less.
That was also part of this. That was also part of this. That they said
I think more private auras is good.
Yeah, I actually feel like they're saying like this go around this season, all the private auras were like unnoticeable, right? Mm-hmm. Which I think is good because like we did Dawnbreaker, for example. Yes, I wish there was a weak aura for some donkeys like Scrap who which way is it going? And then double juke their way into hitting everyone.
I got it now.
But I like that it does require people to play the game. So I'm like, I never once blamed Blizzard for that mistake, right? That people were making. So I actually kind of encourage them to continue to keep cooking with private auras. I want the game to be, as long as it's visually clear what I need to do to keep doing that. But all right. So other small news. Holly Longdale. Someone was asked about the visual art style and technique. This is something I think you and I have talked about before, where you've said to me in the past, you may not still believe this, but you said to me in the past that if a game doesn't look, super high fidelity, right? Super hi-fi, it like you lose interest in it pretty quickly.
That's probably not what I said.
Okay. Tell me what you said, dum-dum.
Well, I'm not sure what instance you're talking about, but I don't think that at all. I don't think a game needs to look super high fidelity at all. I think it needs to look cool and unique and interesting and visually artistic.
You told me you stopped playing WoW because of its art style.
Well, it's hard to go back to Classic and play Classic when you've now got retail's like amped up version of that. Like, why couldn't they just use some of the new higher poly art? But their art style hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah,
I've always loved their art style.
Okay. because the question was come up like, hey, what about the art style of like beefing it up? And she says, like, we found that the players, like the WoW and appreciate its style. I agree with that statement, but I thought, I just wanted to see if there was a different take from you or anyone else for that matter on should WoW, because we've heard this before from, within the Discord saying like, yeah, they just need to like kind of, make the spells look 10 times cooler and all that stuff. And while that would be cool, it's certainly not necessary. And honestly, I think more of us would care about color stylization than anything.
I think they are kind of doing that. Like we all got a little pumped about seeing the shaman this season and all their different spells and actions and cast, stuff. All that stuff is improving the art style of the game without changing it.
I'll never think of Blizzard until they gave me my consecration that they were supposed to update in Legion, and then they took out.
Hold on, because I think when I think of the WoW art style, like I'm not thinking about the spell effects. I'm thinking about the character models, right?
Sure,
like, what does my guy look like
in the world?
I actually really like compared to like other MMOs, like what's that? SWTOR. Final Fantasy definitely is a huge one. Where Final Fantasy, the characters look like more realistic. I mean, they're very like anime, but they're like more proportional humans and stuff like that. And then WoW has these big chunky guys with these big silly shoulders and stuff. And I actually think the WoW character models are like better designed. You can see more artistic hand. You look at the textures, you see like brush strokes and things like that. You look up in the sky, the clouds look like a painting. They don't look like a photograph. And I personally, that's one of the things that really draws me to it as an artist, where I feel like I'm walking into like a painting in a background of an animated film, like where it's bright, it's saturated, it's punchy. My characters are very expressive. Their clothes are big, their feet are big, their heads are big, their eyes are big, like they're a little bit cute, and I like the bright colors. And like if stuff is evil, it's skulls, it's pointy, and it's just like good shit, man. Like I like the cartoony stuff personally.
And Shawnee's an artist too. I'm sure he's got a take here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love WoW's art style. I don't need everything I play to be like hyper realistic. I enjoy the fact that it is the art style it is. It means more people can play the game because they don't need to get a like brand new video card every update.
Tell that to Fear.
Yeah. Well, like they're still using a toaster from 1922. But no, I really do. It's nice to have something different. I think to look at. I guess for me, it's like I like Need for Speed, the video game, because it was never like realistic, and it's fun to have something to like go away to this other place.
NBA Jam, bro.
Yeah, it was just this fun other thing. Like let all these other games be hyper realistic, and let WoW be this like.
Well, even look at the new Legend of Zelda, the one where you play as.
It's so cute.
Yeah,
cute. It's just fun to have. It's just fun to have stuff that's like fun. It makes, I guess, to me, it has like if someone's like, how would you describe the like graphic animation or whatever? I'd be like, it's fun and it's like enjoyable. It reminds me of like a Saturday morning cartoon, but better.
However, I want to go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I remember because I played a ton of Warcraft 3 back in the day. And I just remember seeing WoW and thinking, God, it's like they just took the camera and brought me down to the level of like third person. And I was so excited about that. It felt like I was just walking around in Warcraft 3. And I, granted, they definitely needed to do the, cleanups. When Cataclysm came out and they revamped the world, I liked the revamped world. I like, Lakeshire, for example, like the fact that the bridge was kind of being completed and it looked gorgeous for a bridge in WoW in that sense. So I'm actually kind of like the more of the current art style is the houses look better as opposed to all looking the same. But that blocky, at the time of Classic, like it felt like not 8-bit but kind of 8-bit-ish. Just reminded me of like as if I was taking a hero or a peon or whatever from Warcraft 3 and running around. It just like filled me with joy.
I do like that they're like honoring that kind of old thing where it's like these characters are very blocky, like big shoulders, big hands, big feet.
And then
like,
Kaligos comes in and he looks like a hunk.
Yeah, well, Doc, yeah. He looks like a hunk. But he's still kind of blocky and bright blue hair and all this silliness. But I like the chunky looks. They kind of remind me of like old school Warhammer figures, like these big chunky guys. And it's cool. Like not everything has to be grungy and it can be fun and fantasy and over the top and colorful. I think we're all in agreement. I don't know of anybody who actually plays WoW and likes WoW who prefers like the way Final Fantasy looks. Honestly,
I have a feeling we're going to hear from someone in Discord the second this episode comes out.
But genuinely, like the difference between like WoW and Final Fantasy, obviously there's like a lot of differences. But for me, like a huge difference is that like I think they look ugly. And I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah, but then you sit there and complain about the fucking tier sets, which by the way, I can't wait till we see the tier sets.
Are god awful. Yeah, and I got a bone to pick about the tier sets. I'm putting this out. If anybody is watching who has anything to do with it, these sets better be so goddamn hammy, goblin. I want pipes sticking out, exhaust pipes sticking out of them. I want flamethrowers. I want leaking oil. I want a car battery strapped to my leg. Like these better be so goblin-y. You guys fucked up with the Nerubian set. It didn't look Nerubian at all. So can we get a tier set that actually relates to the raid and the zone and everything?
Technique, you had something earlier you wanted to say.
Well, as you guys were yapping, I was sitting here reading what you got up on the screen. And a lot of it was what I was going to say. Like Blizzard's continual experiment exploring with WoW's visual style, both in the game and through their other games like Rumble and Hearthstone. That's huge. Nobody wants to see it change and update to something like Final Fantasy looks like. We don't want more realistic.
Yeah.
But like Blizzard could, and they are, like I said, so things like dragon flying, like rather than just floating mindlessly around on your mount, like you can fly your mount. You can wind, movement, stuff like actual gestures as you're flying, things like that. They can improve the appearance of the game without having to change a whole, like their art style. I don't want them to change the art style.
What if they took everything as the art as is, but then implemented like the Unreal Engine 5 lighting techniques where shadows are like lighting, super hyper real, and
it doesn't change
in the
style,
game would
though.
be cool.
As somebody who's played. I was gonna say, as somebody who's played like Minecraft with like hyper realistic shaders, it doesn't change the style of the game. It just,
it just looks better.
Different shaders,
Yeah, but like water effects, better shaders. Where clothing and some of the clothing actually will move at this point, but like, if I'm running, the cape could like flow back more or whatever. You're charging in, your cape might fly back behind you.
I think generally they have good instincts because like effect improvement. I love the improved weather effect in Dornical, like the thunderstorm and stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, more shit like that.
So they are overhauling the art style, as they said right here. Graphics have been updated over time, but they want the game to
they
still
upgraded water. I think it was for like Legion. They upgraded fire for. Whatever. Like they upgrade the fire physics and stuff.
And they slowly replace old models all the time.
Yeah.
When Cataclysm came out and we saw Thrall he was like the only updated model in the fucking game. Like I was like, oh man, I can't wait till we all look like Thrall. Like,
and we do now.
Yeah, that's like that was huge.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think put that to bed. Nobody wants this game to look like fucking Unreal.
I gotta call the title of the episode "Overhauling the Art Style?" ? Something like that.
All right, Taliesin interviewed Ian and Mark Kaleda.
They did it real wrong there, bro.
What I want to just say is that they called out the fact that there will be there's a Stormwind themed house in the video, but it won't be the only option. So I wanted to open up the question to Shani. Your top 3. Like top of the list, please put a house here. So, Sean, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, Halfall. I want to live there. I feel every paladin should live there.
What's your backup school?
Honestly, Stormwind as a paladin. If I could like walk around in like some guard outfit and just like chill, I think that'd be fun. Then probably somewhere in Northrend.
Okay.
It's gonna be cold up there, man. Oh, you're Canadian.
That's all right. I'm Canadian. I feel at home.
Fuck that.
Technique. What's your top 3?
Honestly, I don't want themed houses at all.
No, where would you put a house? Technique. You were talking about this last week.
Well, we have this highlighted question. I don't know. Maybe like Undercity.
Teddy
Yeah, I
was like the
wanna
biggest
just-
proponent of like I want to put my house wherever I want. Now he's like, I don't really
Well,
care.
that's kind of what I was
I
starting
don't
to
want a
say.
theme. I want
mouthy
white eggshell
shithole
walls.
started interrupting me.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm saying I don't want it to be themed or forced or put into a box of any type. Like, give me some shit I can do to my house and let me do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, but you just want like bare white walls and then no like not even like
No,
just
I
seem-
want to have to earn different types of like things I
yeah,
can
you
build
might
my
have to
house out of.
earn the
I want to have to
Undercity.
go and I don't want to like I don't want it to be a like another mount. You know what I mean? Like, oh, go and do this dungeon and you have a chance to get the Stormwind house.
right.
Yay!
All right, let's get you back on option. Where are your top 3 places you want to have a house?
Anywhere I fucking want is option A. Okay.
Pick the
Okay.
top 3 of that. God damn it! I
Um,
don't have an answer. I'm just he's killing me.
What's that? What's the beach with all the Murlocs in early Stormwind days?
You mean out by Westfall?
By the
no,
lake?
not by Westfall.
There's like a
the
lake,
first
right?
quest where you're collecting logs and
It's a river.
Nope. Yeah, there's a river that
In
goes
Elwyn
up to a lake where
Forest?
there's a bunch of birds. Yeah, in
I mean,
Elwyn.
the lake with the
Should probably
island?
put it there. Probably put a house in Elwyn.
Okay.
That's or in Undercity.
That's where Iblin's grave is.
I would hide it in like the shittiest, grimiest, nastiest little sewage spot in Undercity and just fucking chill there. And be like,
Literally stark contrasts.
on my undead dude. Well, if I'm I have an undead, he'd be there.
All right, scrap.
All right, Stranglethorn Vale.
Okay,
It's
good choice.
paradise.
Yeah.
The best beaches. You got like the rain, the trees. It's the best place.
You
Okay.
get
Mulgore
ganked there in your
because-
sleep though.
Yeah, unless I gank them back, Yeah, put me in Booty Bay. It's like the sickest place to be.
I'm
and then
down with that. I like
Mulgore
Booty Bay.
because the nostalgia and Mulgore's awesome. And then third, I don't know. I don't really care. I'll hang out in Halifal with Shawnee, like right next door. I'll borrow my carton of eggs from him.
I didn't even think to answer this question before we started stream, so I'm trying to think of it real quick. But my first place would be Howling Ford, up on the top of the
Howling
fjord.
Fjord is so good. It would be
and
so
looking
cold, though.
like over all the like gorgeous, so that'd be one. My second would probably be Stormwind if I could see people out the window running by, right?
Yeah.
Just like people actually doing shit outside. That'd be awesome.
Second story loft.
Yeah, well, whatever it is.
How
I
much
just,
you'd
like,
have to pay to live
it'd be
in the
great
city,
if you
though,
could
bro.
see the Stormwind, real life in-game Stormwind happening outside your window. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder what the mortgage is there. Well, you want a yard or something? You got to get out of the city.
Actually, I said Lakeshire earlier. Lakeshire would be a good place to have it.
Lakeshire's
right?
nice. It's chill. There's a big
yeah.
lake.
All right.
Waterfront property. That's going up.
Yep. Okay. So, also in an interview, I don't know if this was an accident, but Ian talked about the last 2 dungeons coming in season.
His name
2.
Ian or Ion?
Oh wait,
Ian.
I had a bone. I don't like this part. Workshop again. Why? We just had it.
Scrap. You literally. I'm trying to transition. You go. I'm going to talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, let me cut your transition off. Can we talk about?
Well, let me explain to the
why
people who don't already
workshop?
know. So we
Okay,
have our
tell
4
them.
dungeons that are from War Within. That will be obviously Cinderbrew, Dark Flame Cleft, Rookery, Priory. We have Operation Floodgate, which we knew about. We have Motherlode, which we knew about. Okay, Scrap. What were the 2 other dungeons they added?
Theater of Pain, which I fucking love. I was talking about Theater of Pain was like my top 3 that I wanted back in. I think people were saying in Discord the other day, it doesn't fit the theme, it doesn't fit the thing. I think it does. I think it's kind of like Fight Club, Underground, like it's like a game sort of thing. It's fun, it's theater, whatever.
So stupid.
It fits enough, Frank. It fits enough. And then Workshop, which I'm just like, boo, we've already had Workshop
Yes.
recycled. This is our 3rd time with Workshop.
It's not even
and
the
it's not
good of
even-
the 2 workshops.
I know, that's the other thing. It's not even the good of the 2 Mechagons. Give us Junkyard. Nobody fucking likes Workshop. Workshop is all bullet hell horse shit. It's so impossible as fucking melee DPS.
It's also essentially
stupid.
making mages all be fire because of that stupid fucking cuff that gives you an extra fire blast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
So-
I'm doing a fire mage next season.
Oh, there you go. You're gonna love that.
Yep.
So on the, I guess like the really point, like Theater Pain, I think you're alone on that, Scrap. Like people don't like that.
I am
dungeon.
alone. Nobody likes Theater of Pain, I
Because
realize.
I like Theater of Pain,
Okay.
and I
Lithian likes Theater of Pain.
Do you
I can't wait to
think?
go and make you mad, Frank, with Scrap.
Do
as we
you think
fight.
though? Do you think Theater Pain's going to be good when we're in the tens realm of the new Mythic Plus system that both Fortified and Tyrannical are active, and we have those mini bosses that are scattered throughout the entire fucking place?
Theater Pain always had a satisfying difficulty. I think that will continue.
Most likely, they'll just nerf it into the ground like they did Necrotic Wake.
Yeah.
Did they nerf? Oh, well, yeah. The Necrotic Wake changed though.
It's
The way that
a-
they
oh,
did the
Necrotic
boss,
Wake,
but
yeah.
yeah, okay.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
I gotta say, Theater Pain and Motherload.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like Motherload.
let's talk about Workshop then for a second. So
No.
this is now the
No.
third time. So let's recap when we saw it last. So we saw it
I
in
do like
obviously
Workshop, though.
BFA.
I like tanking it.
Mhm.
We saw it in season 4 of Shadowlands, which was right after BFA. We didn't see it at all in Dragonflight, right?
Correct.
I felt like it had been in Dragonflight at some point.
Right? I feel like I just
No,
played
it was
it.
right before Dragonflight.
I really don't want to see
Season
like
five. Dude,
like what
it's like-
happened? Why can't we just get another dungeon that?
Yeah, why is it the third time? It's like they're like, okay,
Well, okay, hold on.
This is our masterpiece. Let's send this one again.
Devil's
and in 2
Devil's
years,
Advocate.
we'll
We are getting a
workshop again.
brand new dungeon that is immediately going in the myth. So that's like okay.
But they have like 30 fucking million dungeons to pick from, besides giving us a third run of
Not
workshop.
really. How many? Because when did Mythic Keys start?
Well,
Pick
they
a
could have
different
done.
Shadowlands dungeon, man.
They could
Pick a
have done
different
Cool
BFA
Terrace. They
dungeon.
could have done.
There's
I mean, there
plenty
is
of
a
other
lot of
King's
dungeons.
Rest.
They could have
King's
done a lot of
Rest.
other ones. Like,
Yeah.
you got to think they could have done any one they've already done once,
Yeah,
and we had
exactly.
it a second time around, and it's still less.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
or less
So-
angry if they brought back Temple of the Jade Serpent.
Oh my god. Oh, I'd be because Temple. I'll give it to Workshop is actually a pretty fun dungeon. It's not fun enough to serve it 3 times, and it's certainly not good enough either. But Jade Serpent is never coming back. It's so bad, man. I never want to see that fucker again, honestly. But
The
yeah.
other thing I've been hearing from the other podcasts of this kind of is that the Motherload is not going to be as good as we remember it, because there were some bosses on there at high keys, like because I didn't do the super high keys in BFA, that would delete like tunes left and right. Now, granted, they will make tuning passes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I remember the second boss, which is the
Is it
boss
one
that
with
just
the
kept.
gun?
No, it was that's the third boss. The second boss was the one that you had the 4 ads constantly spawning, and then they just echo a shit ton of damage, if I remember correctly. And I was on my prop pally, and I just remember, like, even with all the interrupts I could do with my shield, it was still super overwhelming. And that's prop paladins in a good position to do that, but not much else are.
I'm
And
just
then
happy
of
to
course
see Motherload.
the gun boss was
Yeah,
chaos.
that's the one I remember. And the last boss was really good, but difficult. I remember.
Yeah. I don't
I'm happy to see Motherload because we haven't seen it in a really long time.
Yeah,
It
I
was
agree
a
with that.
reasonably fun dungeon and it fits the theme, which is great. Mechagon Workshop is not goblin themed. I'm sorry, it's not. It's Mechanome themed. It's different.
engineering themed.
They could have given us anything else. Nope, doesn't count. Anything else? I don't want to see Workshop
Could have
again.
gone back to Wailing Caverns.
Yeah, Wailing Caverns. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, no, I'm really disappointed in Workshop. It's not even that good of a dungeon. Why are you serving it a third time? If it was Tazavesh and they're serving Tazavesh to us like every expansion, I'm all in because I love Tazavesh. Workshop, no, don't love
Wait,
it.
which dungeon were we going back for bronze tubers? Was that Wailing Caverns or was it a Razorfin Crawl?
Bronze
I don't know.
Tubers.
But they're not
I think that's
they're not
RFK.
gonna bring back classic dungeons.
They did it
They're
with
not re-
Oldemon.
No, they just did the entire dungeon over. Like they made a new
Yeah,
dungeon.
that's what I want. No, that's what I want them to do with Wailing Caverns.
Oh my god.
Dude, I would be my
didn't
dream.
they already kind of do that? Didn't they like take Wailing Caverns from
They
the
did a
classic
pet
and then
dungeon.
in Cataclysm like cleaned it up?
Yeah, they did, but they could do it again. They did Workshop 3 times, Frank. They could do anything.
But that's the thing. You say they did. Well, let's clearly define what did is. The Wailing Caverns work would require them to essentially take the dungeon and rebuild it. Workshop,
Yes.
they just literally hit Control C, Control
Why do you
V.
say that? Why do you say that?
Why?
Yeah, why do you say that?
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't built
Yeah,
with a
it's
mythic
perfect.
environment in mind.
No.
Yeah,
In fact, they should
okay.
go back
So
to
The
what they did
mechanics
before
on the bosses
Cataclysm.
alone would be enough
Yeah.
of a reason why
Well-
it'd be boring as shit in Mythic Plus.
They would rework. I'm
No.
not saying you have to rebuild the dungeon, but they could rework some of the mobs and give them additional or fewer abilities, and then they
Yeah.
could rework some of the bosses and give
No,
them
yeah,
I
but you
abilities.
make that
I want
sound
them to give
easy.
it-
They have to redesign everything.
It's okay if it's hard. It's
Our
gonna be
team's
good.
off the
It's
hook,
gonna be
but
hard.
not the design team.
I'm putting it out into the universe what I want, Frank. Just let me do it. I want Wailing Caverns. I want the Oldemon treatment. I want brand
That's
new
exactly
the
the
Fang
same.
gear.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Give it
That's
the
what I'm
Oldemon
talking
treatment. It's
Yeah,
the same
Oldemon
dungeon.
treatment.
No,
Touch
Oldemon.
touch
The Oldemon
abilities.
treatment is not the same thing because the Oldemon treatment was they literally changed like
No, I want the
everything.
same
Okay,
thing. I
but it
want
was
the Oldemon
clearly the
treatment.
same dungeon. It's not like
It
they
was-
just busted
it
it up
was-
and made a new one.
it was
clearly
called
the same
Oldman.
spot.
it was
It was
not
the same name.
Okay, how many of them shared the same bosses? How many
I
bosses were shared?
honestly don't remember anything about the classic.
They were all the
Oldman,
same
so-
bosses.
They
What are
were
you
not
talking
the
about?
same
They weren't.
bosses. What are you
I don't even think
talking
it was the same
about?
amount of bosses.
Well, they were missing the alligator guy.
No, all the bosses were new. What are you talking about? Sean, are you raising your hand or are you
Yeah.
just waving by because you're bored of this
False,
conversation?
I'm saying you guys are just arguing the same thing over and over. So let's move on
That's
to the
what
next
we're
thing.
here to do.
No,
Yeah.
no. Technique
I was
is a
talking about-
donkey.
You're all donkeys currently.
I don't care what they did to
died in
Oldemon. I want
Oldemon.
them to do it to Wailing Caverns.
So
I want
anyways-
Wailing Caverns new.
Anyways,
What I want.
I can't even think of any other goblin dungeons.
I'll just do it myself,
stop.
Frank. That way they don't have to even do it. I'll
No,
do it.
there aren't any goblin dungeons. I don't
I'll
think.
build the damn dungeon.
I wish we were a big podcast. I wish we were like so big that I could just email Ian and say, please, let me just send Technique there for one day.
Pretty sure
He
it's
won't even-
Ion.
He won't even have to like design anything. Just put him in a boardroom with the design team and let them rip his ideas to pieces about how bad they are.
Technique
why
would
they'd
come
fail.
out the CEO. Like
I've
he would
never
be like,
had a bad
"Ian."
idea,
Yeah,
Frank.
Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
My mom
Yeah.
always said.
They would promote him to CEO immediately. They were like, "This guy has so many big ideas.
Shit,
He's
let
not
him
constrained
cook.
by anything.
Yeah.
Not
Alright.
restrained by realism or like possibility. You know, like this is the kind of guy we need."
No, motherfucker. We're gonna make it happen.
Now,
Don't
one
be-
other thing I want to talk about while we're talking about dungeon rotations. So there is a good speculation that there will be no season 4
Ah, yeah.
Thank
in
Christ.
this expansion. Now, part of me says there will still be a season 4, but it'll be so truncated that no one will care because like player housing will be out and all that shit. But it also then begs the question, okay, so what season
Like
3
a
hits,
season foe.
when season 3
Truncated.
hits, are we going to see all the Dragonflight dungeons together like we would expect? But then, of course, then there's, 4 dungeons that are going back to back in seasons, which was against their philosophy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get your predictions on what you think will happen. Is season 4 dead?
Yes.
Based on the calendar, yeah, I think so. Unless they're gonna plan on doing something different with season 4 than they've done in the past, which I don't even know what that looks like.
I mean, yeah.
all
I mean,
Wailing Caverns.
Oh, yes.
I'd be surprised if they have, like a whole new set of dungeons and stuff. At most, they might just be like, "Here's all the dungeons you've done this expansion. Have fun." Getting like how they did the end of the other season with the tokens and stuff.
Dinars.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'd rather not repeat the content on easy mode to get all the loot I wanted but didn't get. I would rather do something like hardcore.
Well, we know
Or
in season 3 there will be a
pirates.
new dungeon. So there will be
Yeah.
100% a new dungeon. But then it'll be okay. So is there going to be a 10 dungeon pool for season 3 where all 10 dungeons from
With
War
the new
Within are
one?
there? Because you have the new
Doubt
one
it.
plus Operation Floodgate plus the 8 original.
I don't know, man. It seems a bit awkward to have dungeons back to back in seasons.
Yeah, and
Right?
that's against
we-
their philosophy. They don't want to
We
do
had
that.
it in Shadowlands, right?
Well, that was before they
uh,
introduced the new system. Period.
Yeah. Wait, how was Dragonflight?
Dragonflight was 4 dungeons plus random shit.
Yeah.
Season 2 was 4 dungeons plus random shit. Season 3 was
Okay.
all random shit plus the mega dungeons.
Oh, okay.
And then
they
season
went
4
back.
was the greatest hits, and I say greatest hits meaning it was all the Dragonflight
Yeah,
dungeons.
I like that. I like that actually because it's like I kind of was like it was too soon to go back to Ruby Life Pools.
Yeah.
Like for real. But it was season 4, so it was just kind of like, oh yeah, Ruby Life Pools. I remember that place, cool. But I didn't want to like push it. I didn't want to push Ruby Life Pools again. That sucked.
Mhm.
So, I think that's I think I said before I like season 4's like I like to play the game very casually. I think it's a good like, hey, let's chill, let's talk about the PTR. You know, we don't need to push every single moment of our lives. And season 4 is like a good cool down.
And I think they'd be forgiven so much if they released housing within that season.
I know, but yeah, exactly. And I think that's fine. I think currently what the calendar shows is like no season there, right? Like,
well, it just doesn't
kind of,
say
like,
because
empty.
like the season 3 would start like late summer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And that would trail into like, you know, December/January, I would think, for a season end.
I would far prefer a half-ass season 4 to an extremely long season 3.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But on the inverse of it, there are rumors that, okay, so maybe it's because there won't be a need for season 4 because season 1 of Midnight would start like, you know, January or whatever. And they will honor their 18-month cadence, you know?
Here's what I think. They need to stop making promises about cadences and stuff because
they're not making promises,
up for
that's
failure.
for sure.
Yeah, they never say for sure what the cadence was.
The roadmap is the only thing we're certain of. Right?
Yeah, they shouldn't set expectations that are very hard, like deadlines and stuff, which is fine. I mean, there's a lot of time between now and then. Their whole computer system could explode for all I know. I don't know how this stuff works. They could have run out of seasonal.
Show me how you know it. How you don't know how it works by saying their computers could explode.
World War III.
I don't know how it works.
I have a question.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
So
what's wrong with that?
How many season 4s have we seen? Just the one in Dragonflight?
No,
in Shadowlands season 4.
Was there like a dog shit season 4, or was it just a good season 4?
It was
season 4.
It was all redux dungeons.
Yeah, so no, all mega dungeons.
All megas.
So season 4 was a surprise in Shadowlands. Remember, we didn't expect it. And they just said, hey, like 2 people at Blizzard had this idea. We were just gonna have a super long season, but we said, you know what, why not let these guys do their thing? And they just like strung together the season 4, which had the Dinar system. It had all the raids in it, which was nice to go back and visit the raids.
Right.
And then, of course, all the mega dungeons plus 2 dungeons voted on by the community.
Yeah,
it's like an expansion party.
No, it wasn't.
Really
it wasn't for the dungeons. The dungeons, like the only expansion dungeons in that was Tazvash, and then it was Mechagon and Karazhan, and then Iron Docks and.
Everybody loves season 4 Shadowlands because we'd had the Shadowlands dungeons for the whole like 2 and change years. We were doing Theater of Pain in every season, you know what I mean? And then they were like, okay, Theater of Pain's out, here's all new ones. It's like you've seen them before, but they're new and they're ready for you to get into and have fun. And also a lot of classes were really silly, like Survival Hunter. You know, there was fun stuff and you can get whatever gear you wanted. So it was like a big party, man. It was fun.
But then they brought it back in Dragonflight, and people were like, well, hold on, Blizzard. We let you off the hook because you had made so many promises with what was coming in Dragonflight, and we just knew you needed some time to cook. But this wasn't necessary for Dragonflight.
I think maybe the reasons in Dragonflight were different than in Shadowlands. Like in Dragonflight, remember the time was a bit odd for Blizzard and Microsoft. And
there was
all
like
that
COVID
happening.
and stuff.
I don't think Blizzard and Microsoft's merger had anything to do with what Team 2
Well, there was COVID, there was scandals, there was all kinds of shit.
That was Shadowlands shit. That was
Dragonflight. Fired like 100 million.
Yeah, but that's when they're working on Dragonflight,
people working from home.
No, they had already. Dragonflight was done. They were coming into War Within, and they said we have a season 4.
Well, we talked about War Within, dude. They made a big mess of it. They hardly even made it.
the home screen. Okay. I'm trying to think of anything else that we need to talk about.
I think we hashed it.
So, I did want to talk, let's do this briefly, okay? Because we are doing okay with time. So we are at the, let's call it the midpoint of the season. I have now discovered this website, wowmeta.com. And it is a different take on the meta ranking, okay?
Look at that melee meta. Ooh-wee.
Well, so hold on. Let's look at this real quick. So this is all fixes, all keys. There have been almost 900,000 keys run, according to the Armory API.
They only have what the fuck? And there are only 2
the range from plus 2 to 18s?
Yeah, because that's the only range that they could possibly have.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you filter it?
To what? Oh, yeah, you can do like the 2,
plus
7,
8 to 8 18s?
You can do 8 to 13. So here's 8 to 13.
Yeah, that just, I think, makes a little more sense. Nobody cares about
it makes more sense. Well, hold on. It does make sense
to a degree.
Whoa.
Wait.
It does make sense to a degree.
All keys is good because not everyone is doing the same key level we are, and we do have people watching doing below 8.
I know, but I wanna
plus
see the
8,
8 to
literally
13.
anyone with an arm could
Well,
do a
here's
plus 8.
something.
People
No, but
that
here's the
can.
reason. Here's the reason why it matters for all keys, right? Because it also gives us the data, which we didn't have on the other website, of how many keys total. And I mean, look, Brewmaster, you can't see it on the screen on the podcast. I'm sorry, but the Brewmaster's doing 54,000 keys to 264,000 for Prop
Yeesh.
Paladin, right? So, you know, what is that? 4 times the keys of a monk to Prop
really?
Paladin.
5
right?
times.
5
Yeah.
times.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, 400%. That's what I'm gonna say. 400% more keys. I'm not even sure if that's the right math, but anyways,
That's not right.
point is that it's a huge discrepancy, but it also says that the highest key a Death Knight has done is a 15, a Blood Death Knight, and the highest key a Brewmaster Monk has done is a 16, right? So like there's
So what does that say?
Well,
You need
just
to be
says,
a really good brewmaster.
well, or blood is just not viable because of the way that they're tanking, you know,
Yeah.
gameplay works.
Your health yo-yoing. Oh my god, it's
Are
stressing
they
me
getting
out.
one shot?
Well, so
Oh, they're
then
getting
that's where my
brutalized.
question then pops up, right? Because again, we have a tier system here. Well, now, granted, I'm sure they're not going to defend this tier system being as 100% reflective of what actually is. But like, you know, Brew is in the D tier, the bottom of the D tier. Yet they've done higher keys than a Blood Death Knight has overall, right? And we can actually even see that. So let's go to healers for a second because this also shows up in healers. So okay, cool.
Wait, is the S through D is just related to how many? Is that correct?
No, I think it's through the mean, like the
performance?
average rating of their IO.
Oh, okay.
Right? So here it says mean rating, and that is like the average score per dungeon, per key, per player.
That you get
right?
per point. Yeah, per dungeon,
right.
your points. Okay.
And of course you can see the max rating over here. So like, you know, this 442 is the highest.
298. What is that? Like an 11 times? That's how many points you do, or a 10.
That's an 11, I think. No,
or a 10.
Let's do the math real quick. We're 2,700 is like all 11s, right? So
yeah.
I can't even do the math real quick, but
Don't worry
it's
about
like,
it.
Yeah, it's like 10s and 11s. Let's just say.
Yeah, it sounds okay. That sounds about right.
So in this case, right, Resto Shaman is still ranked S tier. They have the higher average rating than Disc Priest. However, Disc Priest and Mistweaver monks, right? So Mistweaver C tier have done 18s over a Resto Shaman 17, right?
It's interesting data.
Well, and again, I like this data just because it gives me insight. But at the end of the day, the tier system's still fucked. It just doesn't. Like, is this really a C tier if they're able to do the thing that this A tier, which by the way isn't the S tier, but they're the highest anyways? Like, you know.
So how many different discipline priests have achieved an 18 key?
Like it switches around. Oh shit!
Probably
Look, preservation.
1 or 2 or 5.
Wait, where did Prez come from?
Well, because this is only from the 14 to 19.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, this is only a handful of guys, right?
Well, and I'm also wondering if this is because they start the dungeon as Prez and then switch to Og after like a first boss or for that. Like that is.
So I mean, there's holy. Look, it says there's 62 holy priests in there. I don't see why a bunch of 100 Prez evokers didn't go in. You know.
No. Okay, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't think 130 people are doing a cheeky Og switch to Prez. I think it's more believable that there's 130 Prez evokers.
I'm not saying every single one of them did it. I'm just saying that like
the
people who are doing the 17s. Okay, it doesn't matter. Point is this.
It doesn't matter.
Point is this though. Even the website acknowledges that you shouldn't necessarily worry about the max rating. You should follow what is the most popular, right? So in this case, Resto Shaman's the most popular of disc. But then there's this like conundrum of if everyone's chasing what's most popular, are they swaying the data to make that the most popular, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I was listening to the Bench podcast, for example, and they said like they'd still take Resto over Disc Priest in like the 10s range, because like Resto just has a much better toolkit that is better for pugs, because they were talking about pugs.
I feel like it's also like the arcane mage versus like the survival hunter is that like it's you have to play arcane mage well, and people can play it so bad,
yes,
that you would rather take maybe a survival hunter that's a little bit easier to play, that you know that like they have to be dog shit to do really poorly.
Well, and the other thing, I gotta make sure all fixes are. So the other thing that I really want to call out is prior to this expansion coming out, They said that this was going to be a range-favored expansion, right?
It's amazing how that panned out.
Wasn't me.
It's the opposite.
I would say, honestly, all of the major podcasts out there that I've listened to have said that this would be a range expansion. And
Except for your boy.
Augmentation aside, yeah, throw that out. Yeah, exactly. Technique. I gave you hell for saying you wanted to build the all melee group, and now I'm the donkey in this scenario.
It's a bad choice for other reasons.
Tettles is fucking donkey for his bounce druid take that they were going to be so bad that they couldn't be playable.
Yeah.
Look, I don't even know anymore with Mage because like I see Frost here below Arcane and Fire, yet everyone's like playing Frost at the high level.
Yeah, I see a lot of people playing Frost.
I don't know anymore what the fuck is going on, and I know we've preached this for days and days and days about like play the class that you want, play the class that you're going to get really good at, because even if you are the Beastmaster Donkey, right? You can still beat everyone at the level that you're most likely going to play at. And if you are the person who's playing 17s and 18s, you're not even listening to any of this shit because you're the one that's on the cutting edge of theory crafting it all. That you know what we want to know to get our decision made, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think there's also a factor of like you pick Beastmaster, and because there's so many clowns in the 10s and 11s and 12s range that just simply won't take you. Because you're pugging, because you play the off meta spec, they just don't take you because they think you're a donkey.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that it's all like
some decent numbers, 82,000. I mean,
we've seen Haywire play Beastmaster. He's not like
does great,
far behind. Yeah, he's doing well in the meters.
Yeah,
so,
I don't even know anymore.
Repeats what we say.
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know anymore. But okay, back to the topic that I wanted to.
Really tight either way.
We are at the midpoint. What are you guys thinking about the meta? Are you happy with the decisions you've made? Any regrets?
I'll lead in with this. I mean, like I feel like they haven't made any big tuning passes since 11.0.5 aside from shamans who got a big nerf hammer. I think it's
fixing the problem that they created, but
fixing tweak, right? Yeah, I think it feels pretty balanced, man. Yeah, no, they're still really good. Before 11.0.5, I feel like there were some classes that were doing far and away better than other classes, and now it feels a lot more balanced. Like I've seen some crazy enhanced shamans, some crazy ass rogues and stuff like that, but I feel like in most keys I've been doing at like the 11 and 12 range. It's not like I feel like classes aren't consistently underperforming. It's like players where like I'll see an LA shaman do really well and I'll see one do like tank damage. I'll see a frost mage do really well and I'll see a frost mage do tank damage. It feels balanced, man. On the DPS side. I don't know on the healer side if it's only shaman still. I like to see the chart.
Well, and so one of the critiques people were kept putting in our comments is that none of us play healer, but I and Technique are both playing healers right now. I've switched to my Mistweaver monk and he switched to a disc priest. And we're not maining it by any means, but like we are doing 10s. And I'm loving Mistweaver to the point where I am eye level 50 or 606 right now, and I'm able to handle the content no problem. You know, of course, I'll make a couple of mistakes just because my inexperience or because I just don't have enough tools with my gear to like overcome some problems. But we've been timing keys for the most part. And I don't feel like meta really applies to us there either. Technique, what do you think?
Well, I think we, as far as like well-played healer, I don't know, I'm trying to say I'm like a great healer or anything. I'm certainly not a great healer, but doing 10s is not that difficult. And my guy's like almost 2,500 rated right now. And I'm just doing like 4 keys a week, basically.
I want to be clear. When the season first started, healing was significantly harder. But now you and I can go along with people who are 630 eye level and not feel as much pain as those who came before us. So please don't take this as us saying,
yeah, I don't know what all changed though. I mean, as far as like, and except for people who have been playing more and have a little more experience in the dungeons.
You've got somebody who's 630 eye level who doesn't get hit by anything in 10s. Like,
yeah,
we're not taking as much damage.
I just did a 10 this morning with a group that was not overpowered group. It was just a pug group, and we did fine.
Well, Frank's right on dungeon experience. Like, you know how, like, if you play on a main and stuff and you come to an alt, you know when to press defensives for the most part. You know when it's like, especially if you're a pug, if you're used to pugging, you know where you have to press defensives because, like, you might not get a heal. Like, so.
Or if you're used to tanking it, like, you kind of know. And it definitely helps you to heal when you've tanked it.
Mm.
So what are your all like? I'm thinking right now about the people who 5-6 episodes ago where we'd say they were complaining about not being able to do the content that they wanted to do.
Oh, they've
they
all
were stuck
quit,
at the
all those
8 wall. They were stuck at the the 10 wall.
Those people
you
who we were
think-
subtly shit talking, they all quit.
Do you think they quit, or do you think that they finally I overcame the challenge and I'm able to do what I wanted to do now?
And they ascended to Nirvana? Like, I haven't seen any of them playing.
I'm not saying that they've ascended to Nirvana, but okay. I won't name names, but there are some people who switched tunes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have since returned back to their tune to push 12s as an example. And I was so happy I was like, awesome, that's exactly what you should have done, because if you play your tune really well, you'll be more than fine. But I guess my question is, do you think that they were overreacting, or was it actually really that hard?
I think people overreacted. I'm looking at the list for the DPS, and I've seen everything except for Sub and Feral perform well, as long as someone good played it. Kept up with me or above me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think I'm great, but I mean,
you've been playing well this season, so it's a good benchmark.
But I don't want to sit here and say I think I'm phenomenal. But, I think it's the most balanced it's been. I'll never I don't want to argue with people because I'm just not that way. But of course they'll be it's not ultra balanced, it'll never be ultra balanced. But when you look at that, you look at the chart, there is people, even though there's say Sub Rogue at the bottom in Arms Warriors, there's still there's not a lot of people playing Sub Rogue, and out of them though, you still got people in the 15s with a Sub Rogue, or 17s, right?
Yeah.
Someone timed to 17 is
There's no class that has not been able to time a 15.
Yeah, so I think, is it balanced? Is there... I think the numbers get skewed, like we said, because there is so many people that flock towards whatever class for whatever reason, basically because it said it's going to be great. But you got Survival is one of the top DPS, and people still haven't flocked to it, and you got more people playing Fury Warriors than Survival.
Well, hold on, I got a bone.
Well, Rhett is the most played class by
mile by double.
Yeah.
What's the
because there's only one
melee?
Well, there's only one Pally DPS, so
double the next second class.
That's not necessarily relevant when it comes to a Havoc Demon Hunter.
Yeah, well, Havoc's is lame.
Can I pick a bone with the Survival
Rebuttal,
Hunters?
Your Honor. Sorry, scrap going.
No, I have a bone to pick with these so-called Survival Hunters that are all now doing keys, right?
Oh, no.
At the beginning of the season, when Survival was not very good, and I saw Survival Hunter in a key and I'm pugging and stuff, I would whisper them Year of the Spear and they would invite me in. It was like a code word. These new Survival Hunters, they don't get the code word. They will not invite me to their keys.
Yeah, but shouldn't that mean that you should stay away anyways?
No, because 2 Survival Hunters is really good, man.
So Shawnee, there's more people playing Rhett than all 3 Hunter DPS specs combined.
Yeah, I know.
And by the way, there's still Prot and Holy Paladins out in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's insane how many. Now, granted, Lithian was talking about this the other day. And I'm sorry, Shawnee, because I know I think he was subtly digging at you without.
I don't care.
But how easy it is to play, but I mean, from my perspective, it's not about how easy it is. It's how fun it feels to play, right?
I think it goes to show that people want to play simple, satisfying classes.
Is Rhett's DPS rotation extremely hard? No. Is doing all the things Rhett can do hard? Yes. Yeah. There is more to Rhett
than just... TDV?
Yes, the TDV
Rhett has
is
a lot of
hard.
Responsibility.
Yes, if you're bringing a Rhett, you're expecting it to battle res and help bop and sacrifice and cleanse and freedom and cleanse and a lot of stuff. So are you expecting it to do more than a sub rogue.
I'll be honest, I never
100%.
invited a rep paladin expecting of those things because they just never do it.
No,
also
but you
get
know
the
what I mean.
aura
Like,
that I think a lot of people don't even like think about.
so like, is it DPS simpler than some classes? Heck yeah. I'll never sit here and be like, it is so complicated. I need an equation and to count to 4 and super duper weak
Don't take
auras
digs
and
at
all
me.
this.
Don't take digs at me.
Oh, but like, look, we went over this. I agreed. Arcane had so much going on. I hated playing it. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I don't. Is Ret also fun to play just for the average person? And I mean, let's face it, a Pally is like the pinnacle of what being Alliance is. Like, so.
Unless you're a Horde Pally, then it's different.
Yeah. But like, if you're Alliance,
I agree with
like,
all those things, man.
You know, like I think a Paladin is like at its core super close to like WoW in a sense.
Yeah.
And like same with like an Orc Warrior. Like when I think of Horde, I think Orc Warrior. I could be wrong.
I did some quick math, and it might be wrong, but within healing, other than Holy Priest, which I think that's just because people are just flocking to disc instead of it, and within DPS, of the I think it was a total of 20 specs that haven't done an 18, right? Let me put this up just so I don't confuse people. Everyone, of the 20 specs, 10 of them are within 1 key of that success, right? So they're at 17s, right?
I'd be super happy to do a 7.
Very
If I did a 17, I'd be like, I would feel more accomplished than most
but
things I've done in my life.
the point being is that, you know, there's let's just say of the 39 specs, there's 12 of them that have done 18s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's 10 that have done 17. So that means like 2/3 of the specs are within that top echelon of performance. To me, that's balanced.
Yeah.
It's very balanced, but I want to differentiate where I'm hearing a lot of the complaints, because we did hear complaints from some people who are like, oh, I can't time keys because my class isn't good enough or whatever. And that's just wrong. We can see from the data, it's like any class can pull their weight enough to time
If
a key.
anyone's watching this saying I can't do a 15, they have to understand that they can.
But
There's
the
just more work to be
difference
done.
the difference, Frank, is that you can say, I can't get into a pug as a sub rogue. Like,
Yeah, but
that
scrap.
can be true. That's not the problem that people are complaining about. They're saying it's not balanced enough. There's like the community is picking because there's such a heavy amount of DPS over. There's not enough tanks. There's not enough
Scrap,
healers.
hold
There's
on.
simply not enough keys.
No, I'm going to agree with
What's the
Scrap right quick
success
before you
rate
counter
of
her.
12 pugs?
Those
What do you
people
mean,
aren't
what's the
pugging if they're
success
doing 17s, 18s, but I can totally say, like, if you're I never once took a rogue over anyone with a
Well,
battle
you
res
should
or a
take
bloodbath.
assassination
taking.
rogues. You're
Yeah,
crazy not to take them.
Ass rogues are quite good. Although
I'm
I
sure
haven't
that they
had one
are, but they
without
don't
DPS.
offer either of those other two benefits. If you're pugging, I would, unless I know you're a badass ass rogue, I'm probably going to take the Ret Pally or the Enhancement Shaman or the Death Knight that gives me benefit that doesn't really require you to be good. You just press the goddamn button.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a meta problem, not a balancing problem.
Well,
right?
no, that's not even a meta problem. That's a
not
utility
Blizzard
problem.
That's a utility problem,
Well,
and they could fix
that's
that.
utility problem. Yeah, I guess so. But you build your group to balance that out, right? Like, I'm sure in these 18s, they're not just like okay, we have we have an assassination rogue. We just took no heroism. It's like they balance out the utility with other classes.
Heroism and battle reses are on a different tier of utility than bops and
example.
dispels.
Just an example, okay?
Well, you use the most extreme example. Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, do you guys feel like season 1 was, and I'm talking from the perspective of letting everyone play in the same realm of success, was it a success or was it a failure? Technique?
I think it was. I think at the start it was really, especially for like Resto Shaman. I mean, that was the one that was out far and away the number one healer when people were pushing keys in the early season. But yeah, I think ultimately they've really tuned it well, and I think we're well balanced. Sure,
Johnny.
Yeah, I think it is. I think if anything, what makes it seem unbalanced is just the community itself.
Yeah.
And how they decide to pick and choose who goes to what keys.
That was going to be my rebuttal to the rest of Shaman.
But Shaman's a little different because they had totems and poisons and all these other things that they were just the best choice for Period.
Like I'll say
They can single-handedly do what?
Deal with one of
drop
the
a fucking
tactics.
totem and clear all the
Every
poisons for a certain
priest can
boss.
do that.
Wait.
No.
I'll say when shamans at first were like the bee's knees, I was running some keys. Frank and I ran some keys with like Rijo and Bren, and Bren was playing Mist Monk, and he was healing just as well or better than any wrestler shaman I was with.
Mist plays so well right now.
Yeah, and so does Disc.
Oh, I mean, I think
not to say it couldn't be done.
I would put Disc in the puggable F tier. Like I cannot fucking stand
Disc is such a toss up.
It's like 99% of the time a fail, right?
Disc falls.
No,
Disc is a problem because like it's not like one, it has no defensives, right? So like it works well at the high key because you have these people who are building around it, but in pugs that doesn't exist, right? No one's building to protect the Disc Priest or have the Disc Priest
defensives.
Anyways,
okay. So wait, my thought on Disc is, I think it can be amazing, 100%, but it has to be. It needs the right scenario, just like a DPS. It needs the right pulls to get their max DPS out. Where other healers can do well no matter what's going on, I think Disc does better if it's
absolutely.
It's easy to explain.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, Disc does better with a group of people that all know what they're doing. And I think if I was building a key and it was a key I was trying to push, and I saw Disc Priest, I would invite them because I don't know how pug-wise how everyone's going to work together with that Disc Priest.
So, Shawnee, I got a way to just sell this perfectly.
Yeah.
Disc is the arcane mage.
Yes. Yeah.
Shaman is the rep pally.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Boom.
That's true.
It's just
I agree.
you're less likely to get somebody who just sucks. Because it's easier. It's just easier. Like
my only real big gripe about discipline is that for those effects and fights where there's damage going out after the combat has ended, it's really tough for me to pick up a whole party when that's happened. And really, all they need to do there, in my opinion, if the combat has ended, we've killed the thing. Like the damage over time probably should be nerfed after the combat's ended, or just dissolve, and your healing over time when you're out of combat should be stronger. If I'm standing there running from, out of combat, I probably should just have higher regen. Anyway, that's the only time I get really pissed about it. Otherwise, it is, I think, a higher skill cap. Like you need to understand what's going to happen. And it's much more proactive than reactive. But that's just what I enjoy about it. I like that, like, with a little experience, you can be good and do a shit ton of damage and be really effective. But it's prone to like making it difficult to recover from mistakes when they're made, for sure. But anyway, I'm not a pro healer for any.
Well, anyways, scrap success or fail.
What's success or fail? The season?
What was
this season a success or fail when it came to balancing for everyone to be able to achieve the let's say the 0.1%?
I think the 11.0.5 pass was essential, but they nailed it with it. Okay. That's my opinion.
So they nailed it. So big success.
Well, they nailed it.
Bigly.
Caveat, not at the beginning of the season, but halfway through.
No, I know, but I think it's fair to say, and granted, maybe not, like 11.0.5 is too long for some people, but like tuning is it takes time.
Waited. No.
They need to let things cook. They need to let people get their eye levels.
Stuff. They straight up reworked shit. Like that's not a tuning pass.
Well, but they did do a tuning pass
as well. They had to hatchet it apart. Yeah, no, but like they had to like some stuff was so not tuned or not working correctly, like too bugged to function, that they had to completely redesign aspects of it. So that's a little bit more than a tuning pass, I would say.
I agree with the balance takes. I just think this is shit. But anyways.
We've been playing with Technique so much. So.
No, it's not like Technique is on the higher tier. If that tells you anything.
I ran with Pleb. I ran with this fucking banana sandwich Disc Priest.
I'm not saying that they can't be great. I'm just saying that 99% of the time it's a fucking disaster.
Okay, well I guess I'm in the 1%.
Question of the week. Question of the week. So this is from Ioski in the Discord.
Ioski is like 80% of our questions. He's such a good guy.
Flux was last week. Anyways. Do you prefer how they do gear now with the same items but at different tiers of slightly increasing strength? or do you prefer it the way it used to be, to where each item is the only version of itself in the game? I brought this up. We kind of already talked about this in the past, but I brought this up because I know Technique will have some takes on it. But I really kind of want to hear what you guys think would need to change, given the resources of having to create each season. You know, instead of 100 items, they have to make 400 items. You know, so Technique, kick us off. What do you think of that question?
Well, I've answered this in previous podcasts and I've answered it in the Discord, but I think that I really enjoy having interesting and unique items and not just upgrading the same piece or getting the higher level version of the same piece, which is where every piece in the game has strength, stamina, and your secondary stats, and then maybe, if you're lucky, tertiary stat. I would like to see more flavor texted items in general. We have our tier sets. We have these convertible tokens that give us our tier sets. On my rings, on my trinkets, on my shield. I want more attention to shields. On my weapon, on all sorts of these different items that aren't your tier sets items, like your neck piece and whatnot. Let's have some more flavor text. I like that a lot. I think that would be cool. I think things that are not just the tank neck or the tank ring. I think I'd like to see a ring that's better for a warrior tank than it is maybe for a druid tank. Like something that gives you block value or any of that type of shit. I like that interesting itemization versus everyone's going for the tank trinket and everyone's going for the fucking sack brood and everyone's going for, give me some individualization in the game.
Do you not worry though that it would have everyone would have a very clearly defined best in slot? Like there's a gap with every single item. If you don't have that ring with the flavor on it, you're just shit out of luck.
No, I'm thinking it's the best in slot, and there's another one that's second best in slot. Like, big fucking deal. Go and get the best one if you can, and have the second one if you can't. I mean, it's the same as it goes for, again, sack brood. Like, everyone wants it. You're gonna fucking grind your ass off to get it. If you get it, great. Congratulations. If someone else gets it, maybe they'll pass it to you next time. That's just how it is. I don't think it's a bad thing that, like, there's a good item available and a second best item available instead. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, no, but okay,
we're not talking like differences like a legendary slot versus a non-legendary slot.
But like, let's use the ring as an example, right? So there's a ring that has block value as your one example.
There will always be a best in slot for every slot.
Sure, but there's a difference between having a block value that gives you 2% damage reduction on a single item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I just have crit instead of mastery, or I have less haste than I want the more haste of the best in slot ring, as another example.
At least it's exciting. Like when I
it is exciting. Yes, it is exciting.
More
but
points of crit that doesn't even move my overall number.
It's too hyper important to not have that best in slot. You don't think that people would start sitting there saying, "Well, I don't have that ring, so my life sucks and I'm going to quit." I know, but it would exasperate the issue.
No. Would they do it? Yes. Would they be wrong? Yeah, they'd be wrong.
Okay. All right.
Here,
Scrap. You seem like you're bursting at the seams.
No, I was gonna say I like when gearing is simple. I like that it's like, I got the the champion sack brood, now I gotta get the heroic sack brood, like whatever. I don't want it to be too complicated. But what I do agree with is that it would be cool if there was more like flavorful stuff that isn't necessarily like a trinket where it gives you a huge damage value. But like, isn't it there like a belt in Siege that gives you like fucking movement speed or something? What is that belt? That drops from Siege?
I can't remember it specifically, but there are.
It just gives you something kind of silly, and it's like, that is a little helpful, but it's not like, oh my god, I need that fucking thing. If they had like 10 more items that were like that, where it's like, I might want to take this ring, even though it doesn't have my best stats on it, but it gives me a thing that I think like will help me maybe get out of a trap or.
But that's not the question he's asking though. He's saying, okay, so you either have the Siege one where you can get it in the +2, +8, +10.
No, right? I answered the question. I prefer it simpler, like where I upgrade items.
Okay.
But
so you wouldn't want to have like only one in Mythic raid.
No, I already don't like having to get a specific trinket, and I have many opportunities to get that trinket. Like that's frustrating, and I hate doing it. Okay. But I was building off of Technique's thought about like more flavorful things that like differentiate the equipment a little bit. So it's not just like, you know, I just want the ring that has the best stats because that's what Wowhead says I get. Like maybe I have a little bit more choice, whereas like I might not be taking the best stats, but I'm getting extra healing from something, you know, and that might be a better trade-off for me because I get hit a lot by stuff, you know.
So just to quickly reply to what you said about that belt, it reduces the potency of forced movement effects.
Yeah.
Me, I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, I don't really
take
either.
that
But
over the
that
right
it's there.
stats. I mean, yeah, but to me, it
Yeah.
needs to be like meaningful, useful. But yeah, I mean, it's better than no flavor text.
Yeah.
It's cool, but not something I would choose over the right statted item personally.
Okay, Shawnee.
Keep it simple. That's my like. I like the idea of it's interesting, but I don't know if I need them spending the time and resources to making, 3 sets of gear and all this extra stuff when they could do it other places in the game that I think would bring me more enjoyment than my gear. So yeah, I'm like scrap. Just hero, mythic, whatever.
Mhm.
It's fine. If anything, I would add in like once a week you can roll for tertiary stat to just like randomly appear on a piece of gear or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I like that because I'd like to stack leech on my stuff, like on every
You know,
slot
or,
would be
you
cool.
know, like the slot. You know how you get the gem slot? Maybe make it so you can put a tertiary stat if you don't take a piece of gear.
cool.
From
Agree
Something
there,
like
too.
that. But I like how it is. I mean, like I said earlier, I like scrap said simple, and I do like that's why I want one currency. I don't need it to be the world's most complicated game.
Yeah.
It's
You know what else I
also,
think?
sorry,
Shawnee.
go ahead. Technique.
Yeah.
I want
Anyway,
to talk
go
to
ahead,
Shawnee 'cause
whoever.
my comment's Diablo 4 related. Man, wouldn't it be cool if like season 4 was just they start dropping some item pieces that you can combine like you would in Diablo and like get different like effects that really make your character a shit ton cool to play. And then you go and do like mythics with it, and everyone's a little overpowered, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like season 4 to me, and WoW would be fine to be. I don't care if we go in there and smash everything. Yeah, like we did in the Panda remix.
Well, and even
quite to that
BFA
extent.
with
That's
the
not what I'm
corruption.
getting at, but
no, but BFA with corruption, things got cut. Could get out of control.
But yeah, I think WoW's really fun. I think sometimes simple is better, and when it comes to gear and that, I know what Technique's saying, and I appreciate it. I don't think I care.
Away.
I don't think I care if they
His
spend the
mic picks up
resources.
really well considering he's in another room.
I don't think they need to spend the resources being on this is normal level gear, this is heroic, this is mythic. Like, I would rather them take the time to do something else.
And it really would just boil down to like they'd have different names, but they'd still look the same with different colors,
Same thing, yeah.
But here's the thing like, I get hung up on, right? So if I'm doing that for raid, which makes sense to a degree to have like a normal set, because they've done that in the past even. But like when it comes to Mythic Plus, how does that even work? Does like the dungeon have an entirely different set of loot for +2s than +5s and +10s or something? And if they do, everyone's just going to completely disregard everything below the 10, and it just wouldn't exist in the stratosphere of, building my character out, because yes, I know people would play 8s, but all the guides, everything would talk about it was the best in slot possibility, which would be.
We already have a. Sorry, go on.
Which would be the assumptive, the 10 version of the Mythic Plus, or you'd have scenarios where there's like a trinket from the +6 version of it or whatever that is statistically better than every other trinket, and then like there'd be this huge bottleneck into everyone trying to do that. There'd be like 6 mages going into the 6.
So we already have an example of this. There's like trinkets you can get from doing world quests, and nobody uses those. And world quests too. You get trinkets from.
No,
world
I know,
quests,
but they're the same. They're the same loot pool as far as I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, you don't see that on anybody's BIS list
absolutely
unless
You absolutely do.
There was a few like the candlestick one.
Yeah,
the
candlestick
trinket was a good one.
Like now, nobody's using that at 12. Like,
well, that's because it can't go up to myth track, so that's why it's
the same.
But
it's the same.
I have
Thing.
2 hero track. I have 2 hero track trinkets right?
Oh, same.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people do have hero track trinkets still, despite the fact that they're geared out. So that would be precedent for saying it could be. However, imagine how upset if the best in slot, like for all, let's say it's the Arakara trinket, was a delve one, because you'd have no way of like running it down. You just have to roll the dice every single time. Now, granted, that's not what Ioski's asking us, but I imagine though that like it's the myth trinket, of course, which would always be the myth version, the mythic plus 10 or mythic, right? And then there are the people who are just sitting there going like, I'm never getting into that, but I can't even get the same. I mean, hell, how many times has there been a trinket where even if you have it at like hero track 1 versus all the other trinkets at myth track 2 from the previous expansions, as an example, like it was still a better performing trinket, right?
Yes, it's so annoying.
Yeah. I think, you know, make one set of loot that is universal, and then how hard you play, it just gets stronger and stronger. Like, I think that's the right way to do it.
Put a bow on this, just looting in general, is that like, personally, for me, the only reason I want the best gear is so that I can get the most value out of the skill I'm putting in, right? Like, I don't want to be held back by not having the right trinket. I just want to have all the stuff so that I know that when I'm getting better at my rotation and at doing these dungeons and at timing things and stuff, that like I'm doing the best. I'm in the best conditions I possibly can. I don't care other than that. I just want to like have it good enough that I can perform well, like from my skills. So don't complicate it. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
I want to add one little piece to what you just said.
I put a bow on it. You can't put any more to it because I might have something else to say.
We got 20 more minutes here. No, I'm kidding.
He's putting a sticker.
No.
I jinxed us. We are knocking on the door of 2 hours. I jinxed us.
So to get excited about the mythic upgrade from heroic for the best, so like Sack Brood as an example. If I have a 6 of 6 heroic Sack Brood, do I really want to sit here and grind mythics, 10 pluses, to get the mythic rewarded one?
No, you get what you get.
No, so hold on.
0.5% increase.
You say that no one wants to do that, but then what you're arguing is that they just should hand out gear.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying
he's undoing my.
Would I grind for the right trinket? Yes, I would grind for the right trinket if it came from one place. Anyway, this is the main reason that I'm not doing 12 pluses is because like I'm not. There's just no reward in it for me other than the clout of pushing.
But that
score.
But that. Because then you have this problem where everyone at the top end widens the gap to their performance, right? Because they're already better players and their performance is reflective of that, right? Because if I ran with another Arcane Mage that's doing 17s, they would mop the floor with me most likely.
Now, I'm not saying mythic rewards should be a big difference. I'm saying I want to grind for the item I want. And if all the items are essentially the same when it comes to gear, I want to get the shirt that's got the plus armor.
No, but what you just said though was that you're not going to do the mythic track gear. You're not going to do 8 dungeons.
I'm saying it shouldn't come from the mythic. I'm saying like I do like that you've got a heroic version of that item and a mythic version of that item. I'm just saying I want items to be cool again and not everything to be the same goddamn thing.
He's undone my bow completely.
The secondary
Arakara trinket, right?
The perfect secondary set. That's one item. Literally,
no, I know. I'm using it as an example because you brought it up.
Trinket.
The 6 out of 6 version of it. You're saying, should I run those dungeons over and over again for the whatever percent chance it's going to drop to get the myth track, which is only a 1%, 2% upgrade? Was I think what you said, right?
I said 0.5%, but yeah.
Okay, 0.5%. So then your argument is no, you would do it though for a big upgrade. Then that gap happens where the myth track people.
You're adding this part. You're adding this part. I didn't say that.
Like, don't spin them up. We're gonna at 2 hours.
All right.
Okay.
MythicDungeons.com now with a new and improved Twitch fucking link. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone that joined us for the stream. If you want to still donate because you missed it and you feel bad, tinyurl.com/MDL2024. Feel free to donate. We did hit $2,000, which is amazing. And lifetime, I think we're at like $6,500, which is also amazing. And last word, Shani.
Have a great night. Bills have this weekend off, so I don't care who wins in football this weekend.
They're now they're now the number 1 power team, right?
Well, I don't know. I think
the Lions are. The Lions are.
I would say the Lions are still, number one. I think this moves the Bills up into number 2.
Yeah.
And that makes me quite happy. But all I care is they win the Super Bowl.
All right. Poo poo pee pee claw.
I also don't care about football. That's what I have to say.
Go to what's
Shawnee's
the shop?
losing.
What's the shop that has buy 2 get 3 on the Mountain Dews?
Giant. Go to Giant.
Publix has buy 2
The only
get 2.
thing
So
holding me back is that I don't want to go to the cashier with fucking 5 Mountain Dew cases. Like
make
that's
Flux
like
do
the
it.
most
You just said it. You're gonna go
embarrassing.
halvesies on. Make Flux do it.
Gotta be the most
Buy one
embarrassing
fucking Amazon,
purchase.
dummy.
No, because it's not buy 2 get 3 free. The
Who
whole
the
reason
fuck is
I'd be
buying
getting it.
sodas on Amazon?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Just
Yeah, okay,
Instacart
I'm
it.
done. I don't want to do
You
2
could do
hours.
that.
End it now.
You could do a grocery.
We are
you
at
could do
2
like a
hour scrap.
grocery
We
store
are
pickup.
literally
Say
30
goodbye
seconds
to
away.
Technique. Say goodbye to Technique and end it.
Technique. Last words.
So back to what I was saying.
If you get the
I
trick,
think-
Technique, I will leave.
I knew he was gonna do it. I
Trying-
was ready for him to do it.
He's so funny.
So yeah, had a good.
When's
chat
your
with you
when's your
guys.
stand up special with Netflix at? By the way, people keep asking.
It's already out, dude. You missed it.
It's around the mage table.
No man, I had a good time. I had a good time for the little bit of time I was able to spend for your event. That was cool.
God, that was such a good time.
And I hope to see everybody back next week.
How the fuck did we talk for 2 hours? I thought we had nothing to talk about today.
No, dude, I don't know.
We need to seek help.
Yeah,
that
he
is-
likes the app.
I have more Nightingale ice cream sandwiches, by the way. I have one of those.
So that is episode 30. We will take a break for Thanksgiving. We were not sure when we'll come back in December, but I will promise at least one episode for December, which will be the game show episode, which is the season 1 recap. If you saw our episode, I think it's like episode 5 from the Dragonflight. And otherwise, if we don't see you for a couple weeks, we love you. We appreciate you watching. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving for those who celebrate it, and take care. Thanks, everyone.
Play the outro music.
What outro music?
We need some outro music.
Should play the little. It's the same music as our intro music, just maybe
In
backwards.
reverse.
Yeah, backwards.
I'm going to put this all in the episode just to draw it
Okay,
out.
bye.
Just slowly fades to dark.